And we are live. I think I'm just gonna keep with the PNG for the model building, just because it's just I hate being self-conscious about the model, the VTuber model, during the hand cams. Ooh. And people seem to like the PNG. But welcome everyone. Welcome Opus. Welcome Kais. Ooh. Ooh. But wait, shit. I need to do one thing. There we go. What's the dot for? Ooh. But we have the polls for our next Gunpla build in chat. It is pinned in YouTube. Let me pin it in Twitch just so that it is handled. Till I manually take it down. There we go. And let's continue our build. It's not Angie. I mean, it is actually Angie. He has steam coming out his nose. I should just get the one that's just upset. Ooh. Listen, I'm just a pensive person. This is actually true to life. People look at me and go like, why are you so pissed off? And I have to be like, I'm not, I'm just thinking. Let's get the light. Ooh. But we have our building supplies right there, and we have our kit right here. And off stream, I took the liberty to build the weapons out, so we'd have them and that wouldn't take us any time. Ooh. That's because we have a terrible habit of just cheaping out when it comes down to building the weapons. I hope everyone is having a good week today, is having a good start of their week. This is a kit that we have not built that I haven't had a chance to know what it's like completed yet, as you can tell, because it doesn't have legs, but it already feels like an amazing kit, and I cannot wait to continue it. Also adjusted the camera so it's a little farther back, so things are a little smaller, but I think the framing is better than what it was. Expanded farm on Farm Sim with a new green bean. Probably gonna grow an oat or wheat. You're gonna grow on this. You come to a celiac stream telling him you're gonna grow oat or wheat. Jesus Christ! Just go to a Jewish man stream and just say you're gonna farm, you know, like shrimp or something. Oh my god. Oh my god! If I was Muslim, he'd be like, "So I got some pigs to, you know, farm." Wow, dude, this is. I can't believe you've done this. It's not every stream I mention the fact that I'm a celiac. Well, great to hear that you're expanding. Oh, I didn't panel line the face at all. That's a shame, because that is some really good face. We'll try to panel line the face a little. Let's see here. So we are here, and let us get started. I got a chance. This is on my mind, so I'm gonna start with it. You know, I'm something of a builder myself, Spidey reference. Ooh. He grows weed, not wheat. Oh my god. I don't know if that's legal in New York. Don't tell the New York police. They'll kill all the squirrels on his property. It's not worth it to get him busted. The squirrels didn't do nothing. Ooh. I like how every other police in America are known for shooting dogs. New York police, they shoot the squirrels. That's how you know they're fucking crazy. Hi, Shadow! I hope you're having a good start of your week. We are just getting started. We're just doing a little bit of organizing. I'm facing away from the mic when I say that. We're doing a little bit of organizing. You know, that thing that I said last stream I need to do before the start of stream. Instead, I was getting my desk clean. Priorities. What are those? D16. These are symmetrical, so I'm just gonna cut these. Oh. Cut that out, put that there. Then look for... Oh, yeah, this is all gonna be a double build, so... Let's see here. D16, D4. But I got a chance. What are those? Shoot the squirrels, it's too early for me to hear that. Dude, you could say he. So you could say like when the sorry. You could say when the police came to that man's house, he lost his peanuts. No, that's too soon. Okay. But in all seriousness, I finally got around to seeing the new Superman movie. And I'm not gonna say it's bad, but the fact that I have to lead off with saying that isn't great. It really felt to me like James Gunn was just kind of phoning it in, because it's like this is something he has to do contractually for WB, so he can work on like other projects that he actually cares about. It's like, well, you have to make a Superman movie because it's DC, but then after you make the Superman movie, you can go make your Hawk Girl movie or whatever you want to do. You can make your Guy Gardner movie with Nathan Fillion, but you gotta make Superman first, and it really felt like that. Not because like Hawk Girl or Guy Gardner are like super important characters in the story or like outshine Superman, but just because how kind of by the numbers everything feels. It feels like things are just kind of moving along for the sake of the plot and not moving along because things are happening. If you know what I mean. It feels like I'm again, I don't want to say it's bad. It has moments. Like, it has moments of, like, you know, like, Pa Kent, you know, giving some real good advice to Clark. It has moments where you feel for the characters, but overall, you're just like, yeah, but just... It never grabbed me. It never kept my interest, is what I'd say. Like, it's probably like a... It's just middle of the road. E11? The fact that people are like saying that it's like such a hope pill movie, I kind of look at and think just like, man, you guys must be starving for like optimistic storytelling if like the new Superman is hope pilled. Because again, it has moments stretched over like a 2-hour runtime. So I'm not saying like there aren't things there to be hope pilled about. Like again, Pa Kent has a great like speech about how what defines you isn't where you're from, but it's about what you do. Like, you define yourself through your actions. Great stuff. It's just that there's a lot of, like, downtime in between it. There's also a scene where, like, Superman is just kind of moping in his apartment while a bunch of other superheroes are fighting outside. I forget what it's called, but the, like, interdimensional imp that was voiced by Gilbert Godfrey in the Superman TV show. Like, that's happening outside, and, like, Superman is just like, ah, don't worry, those other superheroes got it. And it's like, it's just a kind of a weird thing to hear Superman say. It's like, ah, yeah, Metropolis is being attacked by an interdimensional, like, imp. But I'm feeling a little sad right now. I don't want to go outside. It's like, okay. The rookie now becomes the Guy Gardner. Ooh, it's a big leap in career. It's actually kind of funny because Nathan Fillion actually cameoed, or cameo is not exactly the right term, but he was in the last DC superhero film by James Gunn. If you saw Suicide Squad, the guy whose arms come off, and that's his superpower, just his arms can come off and he can like have them levitate and fly away. That was Nathan Fillion. Ooh. Yeah, I'm not gonna spoil it. Like, I think everyone knows, like, about, like, there's a big reveal in it, but I'm not gonna spoil the big reveals or nothing. Ooh. It is kind of weird with Ultraman. Ooh. This is, I don't think is, you know what? For you, I'm gonna do this, and when I do that again, I'm gonna be done, so I'm starting a minor spoiler here. But in the movie, there's like a big kaiju monster, and Superman's like all about not killing the kaiju monster. He's like, oh, we can, you know, like maybe save its life or something. But then when he fights Ultraman, first chance he gets, he does not hesitate to throw that motherfucker into oblivion. Like, he's not guaranteed to be dead, but like, he probably got bizarroed. If you've seen the movie, that statement makes sense. But like, he probably killed a dude without a second thought, while earlier in the film being like, this non-sentient monster, gotta preserve it. That was a little weird. Okay, spoiler done. Not Ultraman from another dimension, but Ultraman is they use the name Ultraman for, I'll just say it, this universe is Bizarro. Ooh. Let's see here, G2. And you might be like, oh no, like how could you spoil like that? The fact that like, you know, Ultraman is a Bizarro clone of Superman. I can spoil that because it's the most obvious thing imaginable if you're familiar with Superman at all. Like if you've never seen a Superman product, you'd be like, oh, that's surprising. But if you've watched any Superman in your entire life, you're like, that's a Lex clone of Superman right there. He's all covered up and I can't see his face. That's gonna be a clone of Superman. I've seen the comics. I've seen the shows. I've read the comics. That's gonna be a Superman clone. Oh, it's a Superman clone. They also like they telegraph it because they're like, oh, only Superman can get into the Fortress of Solitude. So how did Ultraman get into the Fortress of Solitude? Oh shit, that's a real head scratcher. How did the guy with all of Superman's powers get into like the Fortress of Solitude? I can't think of how, man. I cannot. That's too Japanese for me to read. Production gonna have to field day. You even want? Oh, I forgot. Krypton was a thing. What was Krypton? Krypton was like a Superman prequel. Holy shit, man! I forgot that existed. Oh my god, I never saw that one, but like I forgot that even existed, man. You know the deep lore. Oh my goodness. Man probably watched every episode of Smallville. Knows that the Flash, actually fun fact about Smallville, the actor for Lex Luthor in Smallville also plays the Flash in Justice League and Justice League Unlimited, the cartoon. And technically, in that show, he also voiced Lex Luthor because there's a body swap episode where Lex Luthor swaps bodies with the Flash. And there's actually a really funny scene where Lex Luthor, as the Flash, goes to the bathroom and is like, well, if nothing else, I can figure out the secret identity of the Flash. And he just takes off the Flash's mask, looks in the mirror for a solid 5 seconds, and just goes, I have no idea who this is. Superman's peak. Oh, I love Superman the animated series. I really want to give it a rewatch, but I don't know if I should watch Batman alongside or watch Batman the animated series before, then watch Superman. I'm not really sure which one I want to do. I usually watch one show then the other, but I kind of want to watch Superman first, but then it's gonna be weird to watch Superman then go to Batman because Batman happens first. But whatever. Ah, okay, you're imagining... Yeah, you're imagining the guy with... No. Completely different Ultraman. There's a guy with a U on his chest. Ooh. It would be pretty cool to see Superman fight Ultraman, though. That would be a pretty good fight. Ooh. They'd be friends by the end of it, but, you know, they have a good fight in the meanwhile. Michael Rosenbaum. I'm so terrible. Is that the original one? Because if you're talking about the original live action one, that one was really good. Clancy Brown in the animated series really carried his weight. Can we work, Google? Thank you. No, it's not the original one. Which... Wait, is Michael Rosenbaum the Smallville one? Michael Rosenbaum, which Lex Luthor were you? He had to have been... He was, as I was gonna say, he had to have been the Smallville, because I saw Justice League Unlimited come up, and I was like, okay, well, he's the Flash, so that he has to have been... Watch Batman, the animated series first. It's good. It's a good stuff. I probably will. I think I've watched Superman more recently anyways, so I need to watch Batman, the animated series first. But I have so many other shows I need to get to first as well, to be fair. God, that opener, though, for Batman, the animated series is so fire. One of the best openers in, like, TV. Just... God, is a guy from, I forget what it's called, but it's like... Elfin or something it is his name. He's the guy who also did, like, the Simpsons opening, but, like, that guy... He nailed it with the Batman opening. The animation is also great. It just gets the tone... It sets the tone for the entire series, and it's so good. Japanese Ultraman, greatest quote. Swatch! Every time he fires off after defeating... Damn right. That's great that he has like a catchphrase every time he beats it. It's just wholesome, man. I wish we still had stuff like that. Just a catchphrase when you're done kicking somebody's ass. And I like the fact that just like, how does he defeat like a monster 9 times out of 10? He just does this and shoots a laser. And it's just like, how does this shoot a laser? Don't ask questions. It looks really cool. Dude, those are like special effects from the 60s. Shut the fuck up. They look really cool. There's something really appealing about Ultraman, though, I will admit. I haven't seen a lot of Ultraman. I'm not as familiar with Ultraman as I am with, like, Godzilla. Hell, I'm more familiar with Gamera than I am with Ultraman. But Ultraman still looks cool from what I've seen. Meanwhile, Smallville opening is just a start. Ooh. God, is that... It was a teen drama. I can't blame it for that if that was its opening. I haven't seen Smallville since it was a relevant show. Ooh. That's a horrible way to phrase it. Since it was relevant. Since it was on air, I have not seen Smallville. Ooh. But I know it was still considered, like, pretty good for its time, and it's kind of what got, like, the whole, like, Pa Kent dying trend started, which I don't blame it for, because in the context of the show, it's fine. But I hate how now today people are, like... It's not the first to have done the Pa Kent dying, but it's the one that, like, popularized it among people, among, like, general audiences. And I cannot stand people just going, like, yeah, like, Kent, like, Pa Kent, you know, Clark's human dad, is supposed to die, and, like he's fucking, like he's Uncle Ben. It's like, no, he doesn't have to die. He can die to give, like, you know, Superman, you know, like, and like the kind of truth bomb that he can't save everyone, but he doesn't have to. Are you talking about the YouTube new rule? Do you mean the one where, like, they're going to have to, like, verify you or something like that? That's really stupid if you're talking about that. If they did more new rules outside of the whole, like, we're gonna use AI to determine your age. Ooh, just give us all your sweet little information. If you're talking about that one's scummy as hell and I hate it. They already have my credit card information, so if they flag me for being underage, I'm gonna, like, blow a fucking casket. I've said this before. Like, I'm gonna lose my shit if they're like, you need to show your ID, and it's like, you have my credit card information. Like, you already know I'm over 18. I have been paying you for, like, X number of years for memberships of several VTubers, and, like, we need to know. We need to be certain. Give us your personal information. But if... God. It only affects those areas for now, but the moment they can get it farther out, they will. Because they just want to harvest the data. You know, these people are data brokers, plain and simple. Ooh. You just finished a rewatch about a month ago? Oh, this is... That is not nearly... I thought this was gonna, like, move around a lot. No. You just rewatched it about a month ago. How does it hold up, Opus? Because I remember it being pretty popular in its day, but so was X-Files, and X-Files kind of... X-Files is okay to watch, but I'm gonna be honest with you, I wouldn't recommend it. If you like kind of like wacky, you know, like monster of the week stuff, yeah, watch X-Files. But I think X-Files is very of its time. Like, if you like something of like that 90s era, you'll enjoy it. But I probably wouldn't recommend it to somebody who's not a fan already of that kind of shtick that it does. Holds up really well, but really jumps the shark after season 5. I know that they started kind of like introducing other superheroes and like kind of like a teenage Justice League and stuff, and I remember people kind of saying that about the later seasons, about how it kind of... They wanted to make it just Superman, but they had to keep it within the... It feels like they wanted to make a full-blown Superman show, but they had to keep it within Smallville, so it kind of got, like, a little awkward from how it sounds. It would have been cool if they were allowed to, like, you know, go from Smallville to Metropolis. Ooh, and you could actually see, like, the whole arc in that way. Like, the only effects of the... Okay, only affects the EK. I have a gut feeling that AI will fumble so hard that YouTube will remove the... Okay. That YouTube will remove and not try it. YouTube AI already fumbles terribly on YouTube, and YouTube still uses it. So, like, I wish that was true, but at the same time, like, YouTube... That's already happening on YouTube, sadly, so I'm not... I hope you're right, but I'm not gonna hold my breath. Ugh. UK is getting sued as well. What is... Oh, okay, so... Let me just see how this goes on real quick. Hey, Merrick, have you heard of the Brave Police What the... The J Decker? Some of its, mecha designs go so hard. I'm like half... The Brave Police sounds familiar, but the J Decker... I'm not sure if I've heard of that. I'll look it. I have my phone up right now so I can look it up. It wasn't. It was when they started doing the... Ah, okay. It's when they started doing the alternate Earths. Okay. Again, I don't have the full picture of Smallville because I didn't watch it as much as my brothers did. And they probably wouldn't remember much today, to be fair. So I shouldn't be like going like, go to them, because they probably wouldn't remember as much. There we go. Oh, these are the feet, aren't they? I'm making the feet right now. You really like the Adventure of the Week format for the overarching season for long... One thing I always had a problem, kind of speaking of shows of that day, is how I love Stargate, but Stargate never had interested, like, doing long-running plot lines. Like, you might get, like, a follow-up story on occasion, but they seemed almost allergic to being, like, having overrunning narratives. They were really tied to their Adventure of the Week, even when they're kind of getting to a scale narratively where they could support, and probably should have supported, more wide-reaching story arcs. It got a little frustrating for me, but it's still a great series. I would recommend Stargate. It's a classic. It's a classic adventure science fiction show. And it's not like, you know, other series which, like, try to have, like, an air of, like, oh, like, we're gonna go into space all peacefully. No, it's like, we're gonna go into space with the army. And their job when they're going into space is to get technology for weaponry. That's what they're doing. It's for defensive purposes, but those people are shooting laser guns. We want that. That shit's really cool. we want the laser guns. Sure, the laser guns aren't as cool as the P90s we already have, but imagine if we could make laser P90s. Imagine it, chat. That shit would go hard. You adore the designs, and actually, let me... Brave Police. I know Pat Labor has hard as fuck, like, it only has kind of, it doesn't have like the most variety in mech design, but they have really thought out like real robots. I think their real robots are like 10 meters tall or something, but Pat Labor got them real beautiful designs. They did try, that is true, they did try to push it more. They did try to have overarching narratives in the last 2 seasons of Stargate, which they then finished off with a film, with their movies, those narratives. It just took them a while to kind of figure it out, I suppose. Because they really felt a lot of times like you'd have a narrative start, and then like the next time, and then like the next season they'd retouch on that like story point from like previous season, but then that would also be the conclusion. That was a real big thing in like the early seasons. If it wasn't Apophis, like that story, like it was gonna be a 2-parter over the course of 2 seasons. Apophis kept coming back though. That dude. If they relaunched Stargate today and they do not resurrect Apophis somehow, I would genuinely be upset. I know he died for good like halfway through Stargate, but if you saw Apophis walk back on the screen, you wouldn't question it for a moment. Okay? Let's be honest. If you saw Apophis just be like, "I'm back, bitches," you'd be like, "Oh yeah. Yeah, I'm completely okay with this." And it's like, but doesn't this... No, I don't care. I'm happy that he's back. Gamera's mid-fight me. Gamera has some crazy monster designs, but usually the stories... There's a reason why Godzilla kind of, why it never outshone Godzilla. I'll say that. The Aura and Vala stuff was pretty cool. The idea of just like, hey, what if some of the ancients just came back? What if they all didn't ascend? Because that was kind of like, you know, like what if they all didn't agree that they wanted to be angels and some wanted to play God instead? And it's like, that's actually pretty good. That's a pretty solid concept, actually. Ooh, I have a dumb question. If there are alternative YouTubes in the far future that respects the creator and copyright and right way, not abusing nor using AI and help, there's gonna have to be some, like, the thing is, at this point, YouTube and other streaming services are going to start pushing for regulations, which they are doing, that are going to end up hurting them in the small term, like these like the ID regulations. That's going to hurt YouTube, but it's going to hurt smaller competitives more, because YouTube can just make an AI and be like, oh, we've handled the issue. They won't handle the issue, but they can cut corners as a big company to make it so that they can use the regulation to keep out competition. So if government regulation gets put in place, no, there will not be an alternative to YouTube or Twitch anything, because they won't be able to establish the checks and measures that YouTube can as a big corporation. Which is why, again, Twitch and YouTube are backing these like internet ID things that only a few years ago they were strongly against. Because at this point, they do have competition, and at this point, they know they need the government to protect them through lobbyist legislation, like these regulations that increase cost for running these types of businesses, and therefore keep smaller businesses from rising up to compete with them. That's just economics. The Griffin is so cool looking and designed. The Griffin? Do you mean the mythological creature, or are we talking mechs? Because the Griffin is just a great, like, it's just, I'm gonna put a bird head on a lion, and it's like, god damn, that goes hard. The Greeks, you know, they were cooking. Ooh, they're cooking with their monster design. They're just like, just create chimeras. Literally, that's where the term chimera comes from, the Greeks. Ooh, just combine the animals like it's, you know, what is it? Avatar: The Last Airbender. Just do that. That's what all of our monsters are gonna be. And in 1,000 years, everyone's gonna, in 2,000, 3,000 years, everyone's gonna remember this shit because it's fire. In fact, you know what? That chimera, make it shoot fire out of its mouth. Why would it be able to do that? Don't you ever ask that question ever again, because it's cool. I forgot to tell you this, Merrick. There's a Legion Swarm kit from the Gamera trilogy. Oh. I'm actually kind of interested in that. I have so many tabs open. Just... just about pachycephalosaurs, because I just went down a pachycephalosaur rabbit hole, like, over the weekend. So I'm just going through my tabs, like, to, like, you know, search through it. It's like, pachycephalosaur, pachycephalosaur, pachycephalosaur. I got the tism tingles. F, let me look for a piece real quick. I will be looking away, so don't be naughty. I'm looking back again. Godzilla Ultimo, has thick thighs to all that doesn't narrow it down though. All Godzillas have thick thighs, even if you're like you can. Godzilla since the Halcyon days has been defined by his thighs. He has always been a thick boy. Ooh. And he's always been, and every time there's been a person inside that suit, that guy has nearly died from heat stroke every time. I actually really like in the old costumes, there's little holes in Godzilla's neck so the guy can see out of, and also so that there's ventilation. And those little holes in Godzilla's neck, even though they're not really visible in the film, they actually included them in the, like, what is it? Like the cross sections for Godzilla's, and they're just like, oh, those holes in his neck, those are just his gills. That's how he breathes underwater, and it's just like, you could have just, like, not acknowledged those, but, like, you were like, no, we need to explain this. And I'm like, that's what I like about the Japanese. They're like, this, like, incidental piece that, like, we could just say, like, oh, hey, you don't actually see that. That's not really there. You know, like, your eyes are lying to you. They're like, no, that's a real thing. And it's part of the anatomy. Cheap viewers. I like how that, now that Twitch has started implementing anti-viewer bot shit, I'm getting view bots coming into my chat going, cheap viewers, more. I have noticed that since Twitch has implemented their view bot regulations, I'm getting more ads for view bots in my streams. Kinda crazy. Ooh. The Mecha Griffin and Pat Labor? Okay. I'll double check that. Chimera, Kit Bash, but yeah, it was a Kit Bash before Kit Bashes. Like the just normal suits in Pat Labor, just the police suits themselves are like beautiful. But I think this is like the Griffin. Yeah, the Griffin. Ooh. One thing I love about the Pat Labor suits, if I can say real quick, is how the design is how. I don't know if it's like all designs or if it's just the. Yeah, it doesn't matter. But how a lot of like the more detailed designs of them will have fabric on them, over their joints and whatnot. I really like that touch. I just think it's just a really good look, and a lot of mecha design doesn't do that. They don't do anything to like protect the joints either directly or indirectly, and just having that fabric again over the joints, over the elbows and the, you know, shoulders, but still under the armor of the mech, just looks so clean, and it gives it a very unique look. And it's something that, again, I think is just underutilized in mech design. Japan with crazy idea and animation style, but fumbled on the writing story, something... Ooh, sometimes, in my opinion. Sometimes it can get a little eccentric, but they always give their all when they go into the design department. Sometimes they give a little too much in the design department, but they're always passionate about the visuals, if nothing else, and I will never hurt on them for that. It's not like the West where it's like, oh hey, what if we just like have the inseams of the clothes and we highlight them? And that's just been something we've been doing for the last like 10 years in superhero design. It's just, oh hey, how about we just like make it so that the seams of the clothes are like extra thick and a different color? And it's like, well, that looked neat the first time you did it, but it's really tiresome now. God, it's just, now people are looking at the new Spider-Man costume, and its seams are not exaggerated. It just has normal costume seams on it, and people are like, oh my god, it looks so much better. And it's like, it looks okay. It's just the fact that it doesn't have those ugly seams no more. I haven't seen the second part of Gundam Thunderbolt, but I've heard that it kind of drops off after that first part in like the colonies. I hear that the I don't hear people talk about Bandit Rose as much as the first part of Gundam Thunderbolt, I will admit. I've been meaning to watch Bandit Rose. I've seen Thunderbolt itself, and it has a good fight and whatnot, but I always kind of found like the narrative a bit of a mixed bag. Ooh. But to be fair though, I watched the movie version, which is like the compilation film. Watch the TV version, because there are parts in the compilation film that just they cut out because they just don't have time for it. And so certain things just don't make sense, like when the captain gets killed by her subordinate, and you're just like, why did he do that? Like, why is he just being an asshole? And it's like, well, in the original broadcast, there was like, you know, a whole like animosity between the two, because one was an Earthoid and one was like a Spaceoid, and it kind of shows how like the tensions between, you know, the old and the new are even present in the Federation as they fight against Zeon and whatnot. But in like the TV movie, there's like one, maybe two lines from the guy who shoots her about, you know, maybe not being the happiest with her. And then, you know, they're just like, he shoots her later on, and you're like, what the fuck? That does. But if you're in the West, it's kind of hard to get the TV, a translation of the TV show is the problem. That's true. Actually, an anime that doesn't follow the manga, but I really like, it's actually an adaptation and not just a copy, is Birdie the Mighty. Birdie the Mighty is real clean, and I will never forgive them for not finishing that series. I mean, I know other series are getting like, you know, like season 2s, you know, 13, like season 2s and 3s, like 13 years later. And I hope to God Birdie the Mighty gets like a wrap-up season, but I'm not crossing my fingers. There's two seasons of Birdie the Mighty. One focuses on like, it is a show of Deuteragonist. The first season focuses on the first Deuteragonist, which is just, you know, two protagonists. The second season focuses on the other. And the third season is set up, and it would literally be them fighting the person who screwed over both Deuteragonists in the first two seasons. It's set up. The third season is right there. The concept is just there for the taking. We have stakes, we have investment, and they just never produced it because it was an anime made in the 2000s. So you get 26 episodes and then you're done. Ooh. You remember liking Birdie the Mighty is... I still rewatch it on occasion. I need to rewatch it along with everything else that I need to rewatch. But Birdie the Mighty, I love the fighting animation. I love how they kind of go into less detail for the fighting style, and it allows them to get away with more. And how they compensate for it is just make it so that all of it's kind of this very fluid motion. Ooh. But the fights are just a lot of times brutal. I love the Birdie the Mighty fights. There's a great scene where a character has an emotional breakdown, and they make the kind of, and they actually play into the low detail fighting aesthetic, and they actually bleed that into the character's mental breakdown, and you're just sitting there going like, wow, this is like really harrowing to watch, because it starts off again as, you know, just the typical I shouldn't say low detail, but kind of sketchy fight style they have. And then it goes into a sketchy mental breakdown, and you're like, Jesus Christ. And the character's like 8 years old. You're like, Jesus Christ, this got intense real quick. And I am trying to figure this out for the life of me. Give me a minute. Thoughts on Gundam Wing Operation 30th? I don't really know what it entails, to be honest. Like, from all I've seen, it looks like they like remade the opening to Gundam Wing, which is cool as a promotion. They gave a hell of a lot more love to Gundam Wing than they did to, you know, G-Fighter. Thanks, but not surprised, I suppose. It kind of... they're not going to do anything like that for Gundam X. When Gundam X's anniversary comes by, you know what they're going to do? Nothing. Oh my god, they're probably not even gonna make a Gundam X Master Grade. They're just gonna let that pass by without a second thought, then 5 years later go like, oh hey, here's a Gundam X Master Grade that we had actually ready for the anniversary. We just decided not to release it. You know that's what's gonna happen. It's what Bandai does. They don't give a fuck. Sorry. The joints cover and are to protect from space debris and the lore. Yeah. That's why the Nightingale has it, because it has to fight on the asteroid, and I don't know what I'm doing wrong here, and it's driving me freaking mad. Okay, what am I doing wrong here? What piece goes where? Is this the correct piece? Did I cut out the wrong piece and I'm just being an idiot? There's a distinct possibility that is the case. No, this is the correct piece. Give me 1 second. What am I doing wrong here? It goes on like this. Then this piece goes on like this. There we go. Okay. I don't know why that was killing me so badly. I always kind of wonder why mobile suits centralize their eyes and centralize their visual inputs in their heads. And in the Universal Century, they actually don't. It says that that's where like the highest quality footage comes from, is in the dedicated camera in the head. But I do find it funny how like they made it so in canon, the 1 Year War. No. Like the only like camera inputs in like 1 Year War mobile suits were the head. There were no secondary cameras. And we see that in the... Though even in actually Double Zeta, they established that the Zeta Gundam has no secondary cameras outside of the head. It's a weird thing. Well, you can't cover the sensors, to be fair, and you're saying like it's stupid that they didn't protect them, but no, they didn't. They don't really feel like they reinforce those sensors at all with anything meaningful. Here an argument: 20,000 Master Grade, and 2 Jesta, and 1 ship, and 1 Gundam. I don't know what you do. What? And 1 Neo Zeong. Ooh. Actually, speaking of the Neo Zeong, the Zeong's actually on the list, and I thought it was in the lead, but it's actually not. It's actually a really close pull right now. And I don't even know how it's gonna end up. Because at the start of the weekend, I thought the Zeong was gonna run away with it, with how things were looking, but it looks like it's really anyone's game right now. That'd be pretty cool, a double X Master Grade. I like the double X design. It's just... This is a nice, big, bulky design, and evidently the people at Gundam like the design, because even though they act like Gundam X doesn't exist, they literally reused elements of the Gundam Double X's design for the Gundam Freedom. For the Gundam Freedom and Gundam Seed. Hot take, Barzam are superior to the Gundam Mark II because Barzam Can customize into mini mobile suit, fight me. I'm gonna say no because I need to look up what a Barzam is, even though I know what a Barzam is. We talked about a Barzam already, but okay. The Gundam Mark II is an experimental mobile suit. That's like saying the Gelgoog is better than the original Gundam because it's more versatile, which is true. Ooh. Ooh. It really is like what the Gelgoog is to the Gundam. It's just the better mass-produced mobile suit, but at the same time, the Gundam was never meant to be a mass-produced mobile suit. That's not a fair comparison, is it? But that's why you put in the qualifier of it being better because you can because it has more variety. I know your game. We barely 1 hour in and the Merrick almost getting. I'm not crashing out yet. Fucking always fucking want me to crash out. You just want to see me fail. Oh shit. That's what I hate about the GM, is I always read it as master grade if I'm not looking closely. That's my bad, but that is a consistent problem I do have. I will read GM as master grade. So that explains why I got so confused. I just misread it. I know it's GM. He corrected me, okay? Ratty VTuber has been corrected. Don't worry about it, bro. What is going on here? A pretty mobile ankle. We're barely an hour in, and we need to be doing a lot better time. I don't want this to be a 3-hour stream, but it probably will be. No, it doesn't matter which way it goes. Then this goes here. Then we're gonna get out B, and it looks like B15. I need to update my notifications. I need to update a lot of things, but then I have a lot of things behind the scenes. One of the worst parts about streaming is the fact that you just immediately go like, oh hey, what do you do first when you want to update things? And the answer is you do what you can. You do what you can do, like you do what's immediately pressing and what you can do first, but a lot of times those things are small. So just like with real life, other things, you think, I can push that off and wait. No, just do the small thing first. If it's something that you can do in like 15 minutes, just do it. Don't be like, I can do that in 15 minutes. Let me do something in like, that will take me 15 hours to do. It's like, why? This fucking stupid human psychology. So does anyone think that the Gundam Guxian looks like a... I know what the Guxian is, but... God damn it. No wonder I didn't... I was like... No wonder I fucking misread... No wonder I was like, looks like a Kasich. And I was looking at that going like, the senator? You didn't mean, you wrote queso. I saw the O and saw a C. I was like, do I think he looks like a senator? Do I think he looks like an elected official? Firstly, I'm not even sure if that's how you spell it. Oh, wait a minute. Ooh. I think it looks like a diabetic Zaku, but I think that was the point. Oh no, Gucci on queso. You could probably get away with that design pretty easy. Ooh, that'd be an easy custom to make, I think. He'd probably be flattered by it. But let's see here, cut this. I actually kind of want to see that now. There'd be so many Gundam clips you could use though of like, ooh, of just like one mobile suit pointing at something and just going like, and just using the audio for mods, ban that man, and just getting destroyed. Ooh. Oh my god, can you imagine actually take the audio from Gundam Wing one of the times they go, "It's a Gundam!" and just replace it with, "It's a journey!" And then it's just them getting shot and banned. Let's see here. This goes here. Ooh. And then this goes here. There we go. To be fair, Gundam Gushian also has a hammer, so it is queso. That almost fell off the desk and I was gonna throw a fit. To make the Gundam Gushian body with the legs from the O from Gundam Zeta, and oh god, and using the man Rhodey arms. Oh my god, the O. The O, the first fat boy. Oh my god, the thickest of boys. I have made the ultimate mobile suit. Dude, it looks like it walked out of a Tyler Perry movie. How dare you, says what is it, Paptimus? Oh my god, what's Paptimus thinking with that design? I do like how they explain it. That it's like, no, it's not fat. It just has a lot of hollow space within it, and that's where it keeps all of its fuel. And it's like, yeah. It's still fat, though. It is the thickest of boys. You know, the O is the queso as well, because it has a sub-arm so he can eat more. Damn, so he can eat more like queso. Oh my god. Now I'm just imagining all the mobile suits with sub-arms using them to eat. Just like, you know, they're just like all of it. I'm just imagining like a Nightingale, a Zaku 3, and the O just all on a couch. There's just a bowl of chips, you know, in front of them. All of them reach out with their arms like, ugh, but they can't lean forward. And then they just have their crotch arms come out and grab the food, because that's where all their extra arms are kept for some reason. Why are all their extra arms kept in their crotch? I don't know, man. Where would you keep your extra arms? Under your first arms? They would get in the way, bro. You need them out of the way. You need them to be ergonomic. What's more ergonomic than just having them, like, you know, by your crotch? And if, you know what? It's extra security. Somebody tries to go for a crotch shot, you can block it now. Really? They're just thinking ahead of their time. Nightingale, you do have crotch arms, right? Yes, you do. Use Gundam Turn A, but make it the mustache go downward. And paint it black. Then you have the Gundam Merrick. My hair's brown, though. I suppose that's an easy way to make a custom for anyone who has a mustache. Actually, God, there's a guy who does customs, and I wish I could remember him, but there's a guy on Twitter who does really great customs, and he's done like all of the Zabi family as Zaku's, and actually he made a Girin Zabi, a Zaku 1, because he's the oldest, and I thought that was like a really nice subtle touch. Like everyone else is a Zaku 2, but then you have Girin. And cause, you know, like, but he's just a Zaku 1, and it's like, that's clean as hell. Let me focus on this. This goes on like this, and then this goes on like this. Then we do this and this. You keep your extra arm in the head. I don't know why would I think of Johnny 5? That makes no sense, brain. Why would I think of Johnny 5 while reading that? Also, great mobility in the toe here, can I just say? Like, just look. I'll try to keep it like held still, but like keeping it held on my finger, it's hard to show you, but like it has so much mobility. Ooh. And that's what I love to see in any mobile suit. Just give me a good toe bend, and it feels solid as well. Finish installing. Screw you, Microsoft. Oof. I need to handle some behind-the-scenes drama bad, because it is really starting to, like, distract some things. But that is behind-the-scenes drama that I should not even be bringing up. I don't really have much to say about Superman. Ooh. It was just an okay film overall. Did it? Just looking at my notes, just checking them. Nah, the guy should use the crab something for Garmadad. Ooh. And that is more appropriate. I don't think oh shit, wait, no. Wait, no, wait, shit. Which one is Giran? I thought Giran was the oldest brother. I hate you so much, phone. Zabi. Family. They all have weird frickin' names. Oh. Do not show me ads right now. I will just want to read this. Degwin is the dad, right? And then Gerwin is the oldest, right? Yes. Okay. I don't think he's made a mobile suit for the dad though, but I do agree he should use one of the like aquatic mobile suits that are rounder for the dad. Whether that's a Zagok or a Hugok or a Higok. I don't know why there's so many Goks. There's a lot of Gok mobile suits. Yeah, yeah, okay. I was right in saying Giran. Dozel is the, like, ship brick house one. Garma is, of course, the, you know, is the youngest. It's not Cecilia, it's like Kissilia. She has a weird name as well. It's like Kissilia is the sister. And in Gundam The Origin, there was another brother who, like, got exploded or something. I don't know. I don't even know if he's canon to the mainline continuity. I don't... We're just not gonna talk about that one because I haven't seen that guy yet. Ooh. Here's a custom idea. GM head and the body of a Dom. And the right arm of a Hygog. God, there's Hygoks and there's Hygogs. I forgot about that. And the Zeta Gundam and the left arm of a Zeta Gundam. And the torso of a GM Sniper and the right leg of a Barzam and the left... It's just... You're just combining things to look as ugly as possible. Zuda! Actually, wait a second. Don't I have the Zuda right there? Wait. That's spelled differently. I don't know if that's... I don't know... I almost actually had the poll that was up right now was almost a Feeling Blue poll. And it was actually going to be the Zuda, the Goof prototype, and... something, and the Zaku Mariner. But I decided to go with the big guy, with the big boys poll, because we did the Short Kings poll, and I thought that'd just be a good segue. Let me check all this. Okay. Finally, somebody knew about the Zuda F. Thank you. Oi, people only knew the Zuda, but not the Zuda F. I know the Zuda F, but I can't. God damn it. I have the normal Zuda, but I can't. I know the Zuda Camo, and that one's overriding my brain. Okay, it is the black Zuda. Okay, I thought it was the black Zuda, but I didn't want to fucking look like a dumbass after what you said. Yeah, I like how the Zuda, even though it's an experimental mobile suit, they're like, we have some spares and we're losing the war. Just make them into things. Ooh. I still think the Zuda Camo is the funniest Zuda, is one of the funniest stories of the 1 Year War. It's just, God damn it. It's Zeon trying to commit a war crime like they always do, but Zeon literally shoots down the Zuda Camo because it's designed to look like a GM. And so another, I don't know why my brain is freaking out right now. Another Zeon ship sees it and goes like, oh, that's a GM, shoot it down. And they just shoot it down. Like, they have this whole plan to go behind enemy lines and commit some war crimes. And then it's just like, and then their friends just go like, that's the enemy. They were too good at looking like the other guys. The Zuda is more stable. Ooh. It kind of reminds me, I'm sure it doesn't have any connection, but it reminds me of like the black, oh god, I forget its name as well. What's the blue mobile suit from War in the Pocket? I really like it, which is what, the Comfort. It reminds me of the black Camphor. Ooh. Where it's just a fancier, like, more badass looking version of that. Let's see here. Then let's go here. The Rick Dom camo, but only camo on the Rick Dom is on the butt cheeks because it. Ooh. Yeah, I figured it out, but thank you. I figured out it was the Comfort, but thank you very much for saying that. Comfort, wouldn't that mean like struggler? Or he who struggles? Because Kampf means struggle. And everyone knows Kampf means struggle because there was a little silly dude with a Charlie Chaplin mustache, you know, who wrote a little book about struggling. You know, that's probably the worst struggle that is arguably, that's not arguably, that is the most damaging struggle post in all of history, was written by Adolf Hitler. Holy shit. I just realized that. He even called it My Struggle. Damn. That's fucked up now that I think about it. You know what? If you ever struggle post, if it ever causes problems, if it ever has blowback, just realize, chat, no matter how bad you struggle post, it will never be as bad as Adolf Hitler. Always remember that, chat. You can never be... The peak, the zenith of how bad it can get has already been reached, and you won't ever get close to that, and that's a good thing. I forget what the Black Comfort is called, in all honesty. I just remember it's the Black Comfort. It has a master grade that's like a P Bandai, but it's like not any... But it's a reprint of like the old master grade. It's not a new mold. So it's like a P Bandai from like within the last 10 years, but it's a reprint of like a mold that's like 30 years old. And it's just like, fucking hell. just make a new, stop reprinting the 1990s Comfort. Give us a new mold for the Comfort Bandai, for the love of God. Give us a new master grade Comfort, please. Zuda is the main competitor. Yeah, I know it's the main competitor for the Zaku too. It just kept exploding. for the mass production, but they instead chose the Zaku 1 because even though the Zaku 1 wasn't as good of a mobile suit overall, it didn't frickin' explode on him. Is that what you're gonna say? So the remaining 3 prototypes are just kept in storage until almost the end of the war. The thing is, that's like the original lore, that they were 3 prototypes left over, and then that's used for, I think, was it Gundam Igloo, if I remember correctly. But then, like, the comics were like, we really like the Zuda, so we're gonna just make it so that there's, like, 2, 3, 4, however many more Zuda we want for, like, more stories with the Zuda, because, like, it's a cool mobile suit. Ooh. Kind of typical, like, manga spin-off shenanigans. They should make a new comfort into the white mobile suit and rename it oh my god. Really? Why does it smell like fish? Oh. The black comfort is an amazing comfort. It's probably from Build Fighters because the prototype is Meijin. I can't read Japanese. I'm not that competent. The third. Wait, no, Amazing Comfort is the black one. Forget. But never mind. The Amazing Comfort is better in my opinion. I know there's a bunch of, I need to actually, you guys brought up the Amazing mobile suits when I was building the Amazing Red. I need to look into those guys. Because I didn't know that the Amazings were like a whole line of mobile suits. Ooh. Don't worry. You're confused. Your confusion is a... You're welcome here. We get confused very easily here. Don't worry too much about it. You're in a safe space to get confused, buddy. Let's keep going. I always think one of the problems in Gundam that they handled later on, but like they wanted it so like there's no good guys in Gundam, but they kind of like in the first series gave all of the worst war crimes to Zeon. So it very quickly became like, yeah, Zeon's just the bad guys. Like, I love Zeon, don't get me wrong, but like Zeon just kept committing war crimes, and it says they kind of forgot to like give the Federation their war crimes to, to like balance it out and make you realize there's like no real good guys because war is bad. But in Zeta Gundam, they definitely corrected that record. Holy shit. Holy shit. They're just like, okay. We kind of forgot to like, in our message that there's no good guys in war. We forgot to like show the corruption of the Federation and why, Zeon rebelled in the first place. Let's fix that in this sequel series. Yeah, that's what the Titans were for, exactly. The Titans were for that. Oh god, the Titans are probably one of the most embarrassing factions in all of Gundam, though, because they were not very competent. Ooh. So I suppose they were realistic, because if I ever expected, like, somehow actual neo-Nazis to get into, like, power... Ooh. And, like, like a bunch of people LARPing as, space Nazis like the Titans were doing. If I ever expected them to get into power, I'd expect them to be about as competent as the Titans, which is to say, not at frickin' all. Oh my god. They had some good pilots, but the shit that they do is so stupid. They keep on going like, oh hey, the AU gets in this area. Okay, let's attack them. And it's like, that's a populated area. Okay, I get what you're saying. Send our biggest super weapon into this confined city. No! What? Why would... Wait until... Like, they're going to leave the city in, like, 2 days. Wait until they leave the city, intercept them, and then shoot down their vehicle, so that way they have nowhere to go. Then you can take them off one by one as they run out of fuel in their mobile suits. but I want to get them now. It's like, and get a bunch of civilian casualties? You act like I care about the civilian casualties. Oh my fucking god. Imagine Earth Federation turn into the new Zeon and the old Zeon turn into the new Earth Federation in the alternative story. I'm not sure if that's been done in Gundam. I'd have to think about it, but that's what I actually like about the AU stories, is that you can do things like that. Is you could like retell the 1 year war, but make it so that the 1 year war, all of the war crimes are just committed by the Federation side. That would be a really depressing, though, Gundam, if they had like... It'd be like Iron-Blooded Orphans, effectively. Actually, no, they kind of did this in Iron-Blooded Orphans, didn't they? In Iron-Blooded Orphans, they have the first season, and it's just like, war crime, war crime, war crime by Tekkadan. But Tekkadan doesn't understand rules of engagement, so like for them, it's just another day out in the field. They're not committing war crimes, what are you talking about? But then in the second season, they encounter a general who just doesn't care. Who's just like, these guys are just committing war crimes and you can't fight on them in fair terms because they're just gonna kill you because they don't understand the term fair. So like just what you do is you fight on their terms, which is to say you just commit even worse war crimes back. And holy crap, does Tekkadan get their ass pushed in. Sorry for cursing. But holy crap, the second season of like Iron-Blooded Orphans is just like... It's just like, oh shit, is this what we've been doing to people like this entire time? Oh my god, they were committing war crimes so happily, and they still wanted to commit war crimes in the second season. But that dude was just like... that dude was just prepared. He literally had a pocket full of false flags to incriminate Tekkadan, so he could just like literally commit more war crimes against them. And it's just like, oh, they're just out of their depth in this entire season. But that's not exactly the same thing, but it reminded me of that. It's also kind of funny in the second season, because you can like, if you understand it narratively, what happens in the second season is that the narrative focus, the narrative priority goes from the main characters to the antagonists, because the antagonists of the story are now the good guys of the story, effectively, from like a narrative point of view. And so all of the good things happen to them, and all of like the bad things start happening to Tekkadan. And I think it's a little cheap, I think it's a little transparent, but it is also kind of just satisfying going from the season 1 where all of the Deus Ex Machinas, all of the like plot conveniences are happening for them, and then in the second season all of the plot conveniences are happening for the antagonists, and it's just like, well, I mean, this is kind of what you were doing to them the whole time. And it's funny because when they're pushed into a corner, when Tekkadan is pushed back and they are getting their treatment done back onto them, they don't even really understand it. They're just like, well, this isn't really fair. It's like, this is what you've been doing to people this entire time, Tekkadan. Like, you're like, these guys are cheating. It's like, you guys haven't had one fair battle in all of this series. You have been murdering people, like, all the time. I think you've probably murdered more people than you've killed through legitimate battle at this point in this show. I'm gonna be completely honest. In my opinion, Tekkadan committing war crimes is fair. Ooh. Ooh. It is fair. Good man approves. The problem is that them committing war crimes is them doing it because they're from a position of weakness and also from a position of ignorance. So they don't know any better. But what happens is that they never learn to know better. So when they start like fighting people on a scale equal to other people, they kind of still commit the war crimes, and it kind of bites them in the ass, because what happens is when you have people who are willing to commit those war crimes and don't have the pop and circumstance, because the whole reason there's so much ritual in Iron-Blooded Orphans is because people have seen how bad war can get. And so all of like all the trial by combat, all the ritualistic combat in Iron-Blooded Orphans is to avoid war. It's to avoid what happens in Iron-Blooded Orphans. It's to make it so that, you know, you don't get bloody conflicts that cause Mars and Earth to go at each other's throat. Ooh, not to say it's a perfect system, and the whole reason the show happens is because it's a bad system. Ooh. It's just that we kind of see both the flaws of the system, but also why the system was put in place to begin with. Ooh. 'Cause once that system gets taken down, ain't nobody having a good time. Let me see here real quick. Ah, there it is. And I need to find this piece. God, but I will always be satisfied at the end of Iron-Blooded Orphans when the Jared clone finally kicks the bucket. Ooh. I don't know if I've ever seen a Jared clone in Gundam outside of Iron-Blooded Orphans, the one pompous guy who's like, I am the hero of this story, and he just keeps getting all of his subordinates killed because his subordinates keep going, Commander, and pushing him out of the way, then dying themselves. But when he finally dies by Gundam Guts' hand, it's so satisfying when that finally happens. When he, I don't even remember what he does, but like, Guts hates him, and I don't exactly remember why, but Gundam Guts absolutely hates him, and when he finds out that he's fighting him, he literally gets a second wind and just kills him in the most brutal fashion imaginable, and it's a slow, agonizing death. And it's just like, damn. Ooh. Ooh. But it's also really satisfying because this guy kept surviving things he had no business surviving. They were just like building it up though. They were seasoning that meat. They were just making you like as a character just go like, God, this guy just should not be alive right now. So when he finally does die in one of the worst deaths in all of Gundam, you're like, good. You're like that Zelda meme. There are worse deaths in Gundam, but the ones that always get me psychologically are the ones when people just get disintegrated. Ooh. Those ones are always just like, go so hard. There's a lot of disintegrations in the finale of the original Gundam. Ooh. Let me see here. This piece goes on like this. My goal, chat, is not to break any pieces. And I have to be extra careful because of that. So excuse me while I take this off screen. Okay. So to make sure I do not break it. And then this one goes on like this. Wait, no. Like this. Yes. And then they go over each other like this. That's really, really beautiful, actually. I don't understand what I'm doing wrong here, but it's like I have to put it on at the right angle or something. There we go. Okay, and those are some tiny Vernairs. And then oh my god, there's another. Jesus Christ. They're not as small, but they are more annoying because they're more repetitive. Okay, so it's gonna be this piece. Then do we have any more bees? No, no more bees outside of this piece. Well, there's this. This is gonna probably be somewhere on the leg. Okay, so then we have this. I cannot believe it's not a polycap. That is 13. This goes here. What time are we at? 2.5. A little behind where I want to be. But luckily the legs are very well designed, and you can pretty much build almost the whole of them in one. Actually, they're all effectively, you can build them together until you get to the thigh pieces right here, which is really appreciated. I cut off the wrong, I can't believe it's not a polycap. Damn it. Why would I do that? Wait. Okay, that's fun. We've already cut out this other polycap, and I don't know where it is. Let me look for it real quick. It should be in the spare parts bin, and it is. Maybe. It is, thank God. Wow, it's humid today. Oh God, I hate the Midwest sometimes. I'm gonna look at my notes. Actually, here's an actual question for Gundam before I check my notes. Did all of the Zabi kids, like, share the same mother? Because I wouldn't believe that. I cannot believe Dozel, whatever, and, like, Dwergen are... I don't even understand, like, how all these came from the same man, let alone the same mother. If you told me all of the Zabi kids were adopted, I would believe you. I would believe... The only familial resemblance in the entire family is between Garma and Dwergen, and Girin, and that's only because they both have purple hair. Did Degwin have purple hair when he was young? I'm just skeptical. Maybe Degwin wasn't such a bad guy and he just adopted kids. He was like, these are my adopted children. And then he was a really bad dad and they wanted all to kill each other. Ooh. Well, maybe he wasn't such a great guy. Don't raise your kids to want to kill each other, chat. That's bad. But if they don't share parents, that would mean that, like, he was getting, like, he was either burning through wives or had a harem before he ever founded Zeon, before Dekum ever died. Because, like, everyone besides Garma... No, I think even Garma would have been alive. So all of his kids were born before Dekum died, right? Because, like, Char was, like, 5 years old or something, and I don't think... And Garma's not, like, 12, or... Garma's not, like, 13, or I don't know however old Char is. He's probably 18 in the original series. But, like, Garma's not that young. So Garma would have to have been born. So this dude was either burning through wives, or he has the most schizophrenic genetic material in the world. I don't know which one it is, but I know it has to be one or the other. And I'm surprised I don't know. It's the kind of pointless information I usually do know. Let's see here. D2? God damn it. I need to get a drink of water. Okay. I tend to forget the details after watching something, and it's been a long time since I watched any of the real Gundam. I don't think it was not mentioned in the original series as a thing. This would be like expanded material. If it was mentioned, it would have been like one line in the entire anime, where they'd be like, oh, these two characters don't share a mother or something. So I would not blame anyone for not remembering this information. That's what kind of what I like about Gundam is even in just the first series, there's so much like little things that like you can find out through incidental dialogue. Is that it was a really thought out universe even in its first outing. It's like Gundam was made by Sunrise to sell toys, but it was made by Tomino to tell the most messed up story he could. No, that's a joke. He's made more messed up stories, but it was to get him to get his fix. He needed to tell a new messed up story. Ooh. I still can't believe that in Ideon, there's just a shot. There's a part in Ideon, which is another Tomino series, where a child just gets its head fully like taken off. Like what happens to Cassilia at the end of the original Gundam happens to a child in like what Tomino was working on before Gundam. And in one regard, I'm not surprised, and in another regard, I wish I could say I was. Oh. All it kind of told me is the only reason the children in Gundam survived is because Tomino was not allowed to kill them. That's what it taught me. The only reason all the little kids, whenever there's a little child in Gundam and Tomino's directing it, the reason those kids don't die is not because he doesn't have the heart to kill them. It's because somebody at Sunrise is going, "No, Tomino, you can kill literally everyone else." And he's just like, "But I want to kill them." And it's like, Tomino, why would you write a 5- and 6-year-old into your story if you just want to kill them? Because war is... No, do not go on a monologue about war. Why do you want to do it? Because the younger they are when I kill them off, the more life I get from them. Tomino, you're not a vampire. What the hell are you talking about? Oh my god, Tomino he's a silly little man, but he's amazing. And every picture of him you'll ever find, he's always smiling and the happiest dude on earth. I was gonna say the people who write the darkest stories are usually the happiest, but that's not true. Because Harlan Ellison, the writer of I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream, is one of the most miserable people, is one of the most angry and miserable people you will ever see, chat. Ooh. God, when he wrote a story, and if somebody came up to him and was like, "Oh, Harlan, I really like your story," he'd tell them to their face, "They can go fuck off. I didn't write my story for you to like it. I wrote it to challenge you." And it's like, Harlan, why are you being an asshole right now? And it's just like, fuck you. Harlan was full of piss and vinegar for no reason. Harlan Ellison is somebody who woke up and wanted to fight everyone. Actually, Harlan Ellison, one of my favorite pieces of information about him is that in college, he had a professor who said he would never, like, achieve anything as a writer. And when Harlan Ellison became a writer, every time he got a story published, every time he got an award for his writing, he would write, and later he would email that professor with his awards. And that's all he did. He would just he'd be like, "Oh shit," like if he got let's say a nebula. I don't know if he ever got a nebula, but let's say he got a nebula for a short story. He would mail, a copy of his a copy of his nebula, or he'd email it to that professor, and that's all he'd do. And it's just like, that is the most bitter shit I've ever heard. Just one person told you one time you'll never amount to anything, and you're just like, for the rest of your life, you're like, I'm gonna remind him every time he's wrong. Every time that I prove him wrong, I'm gonna be like, "Hey, look who's dumb, you." When you find that out, it's not really a surprise. This is the same guy who was able to write I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream, though. We need to find more short stories to read on stream. That Frankenstein thumbnail is taking a little bit longer than I anticipated to make. Then we get G. Oh, this is gonna be the gold. Yes, I'm right. So I am excited for when we do get to Frankenstein. Because that's going to be our first ever full novel that we'll be reading on stream. We've only done short stories and novellas so far. We've done 2 or 3 novellas. You could probably consider Job a novella as well, so I suppose we've done 3 novellas. Have we done 3? What's the third novella? We've done Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. We've done... Oh, no, we did a compilation. We did The King in Yellow, so that's an anthology. So we've done 2 novellas and an anthology, technically. I'm excited to do our first full novel. You can say it might be a novel experience. Okay, I'll just end stream now. Okay, I almost put that on backwards, and that would have been embarrassing. Ooh. I am excited for something that I'm working on behind the scenes, I'll say. I can't go into detail about it, but what makes me excited about it is when I do it, I won't have as much of a serious persona as my current one. It's a bit of a character redesign. I can say that much. But once I do it, I'm excited because... Okay, let me see if I can get this on. Because I can be a little sillier. I can make silly noises and be a bit more autistic and stuff and be a little more loosey-goosey with everything. There we go. Okay. Actually, we talked about pachycephalosaurs, and I've talked about this on stream every time I talk about pachycephalosaurs, but I just want to know why. Why are they not loved more? They are such a cool dinosaur. They're related to Triceratops, but imagine if Triceratops had a cousin that instead of walking on all 4s decided to walk on 2 legs, have 5 fingers like a human. That's pretty crazy, you know? And Asmonov Nightfall. I have Foundation. I have the collection of Foundation. I just need to read it. But Asmonov Nightfall, I need to... Ooh. But it's such an interesting dinosaur, and it's like a medium size. It's actually a small dinosaur, all things considered. I don't know why people don't show it more love. It has a fairly good fossil record overall. Not the best, but I don't know. People just don't show love to the Packy. You know, there's just not a lot of Packy pals out there, chat, and that makes me sad. I kind of wonder what other dinosaurs like don't get a lot of love. It kind of also depends on, again, just like how much material there is for the dinosaur, to be fair. Like, I don't think a lot of people are going like, oh, Edmontosaurus is my favorite dinosaur, but you'll always find it in Montosaurus or in a Iguanodon, in everything. And the reason you'll always find them in everything is simply because they were really, really common when they were alive. So when you go to the Cretaceous era rock in North America, most of the fossils you will find of large dinosaurs are Edmontosaurus, which is why you just see Edmontosaurus featured in everything. It's because we know so much about it because it's so common. Similar to Triceratops and like Tyrannosaurus. Like they're so common not only because they're cool, but because we just have a lot of record of them. While something like the Utah Raptor, like Utah Raptors are really cool. They're giant dromaeosaurs, which is to say that they're big ass raptors. But it's like, why don't they get as much love? And it's like, because Utah Raptors just don't have as much material as all these other dinosaurs. Utah Raptors lived within a very niche environment for a very small period of time. Pretty much, Utah Raptors lived while there weren't Tyrannosaurs in their region. And then when their region opened up to Tyrannosaurs, what happened is that juvenile Tyrannosaurs outcompeted the Utah Raptors, it's believed. And that's also why Tyrannosaurs are so successful, because Tyrannosaurs, as they grew up, filled different niches within the environment. So if you wanted like a fast pursuit but small like a hunter, that was actually like a juvenile Tyrannosaur. But if you wanted, you know, the big tank of like that can just take out anything, that's the grown-up Tyrannosaur. And it just filled niches as it grew up. And that's why you don't find mid-sized predators in Cretaceous era rock. Is because you don't find mid-sized predators in dinosaur rock because the mid-sized predators are believed to have been the maturing big predators. And that's kind of just a theory that's going around of why pretty much you don't see anything that's half the size of a T-Rex in the T-Rex's environment. It's because when the T-Rex is a teenager, it is that thing that's filling that role. Names are a big part. Pachycephalosaur is hard as hell to spell, and a lot of people don't like weird named animals like I do. Like one of my favorite prehistoric mammals is the Lectectilium. And I like the Lectectilium. 90% of the reason why is because it has a silly name. The other 10% is because it looks silly. It might be like, how do you spell Lectectilium? I have no idea. Lectectilium I have seen featured in two things. Walking with Beasts, which is the sequel to Walking with Dinosaurs. And the other place I've seen Lectectilium was the finale of Jimmy Neutron. You might be like, why the hell was it in the finale of Jimmy Neutron? They go back in time like 65 million years. So it's there. And they encounter a Lectectilium. I don't know why they chose Lectectilium, but I thank them for it, because Lectectilium is a wonderful little dude. It has a silly little name, he's a fun little fella. He deserves more love. Where's my lighter fluid? We actually need it this stream. There's the cup for the lighter fluid. What always confused the hell out of me, though, are the fact that giant birds, ever since the dinosaurs got wiped off the earth, the non-avian dinosaurs got wiped off the earth, there have been like 3 or 4 times giant predatory birds have evolved. You had the Terra birds, you had the... Like, they're all called Terra birds is the problem, but they're not all part of the same genus, which is to say they're not all part of the same family. Like, they're all birds, but they're not all descended from the same birds, but they're all called Terra birds. And it's really confusing because you see, like, this bird is from 55 million years ago. It's a Terra bird. And it's like, cool. This bird that has no relation to it from South America from, like, 20,000 years ago is also a Terra bird. And it's like, fuck you. It's the dinosaur curse where dinosaurs that have no relation to one another have really similar names. And even birds that look like dinosaurs, non-avian dinosaurs, it's still true for. And I don't frickin' know why the paleontology community cannot help themselves but make things as confusing as fucking possible when it comes down to like big frickin' when it comes down to dinosaurs. They just can't help themselves. It has to be complicated. Also, I learned over the weekend the longest dinosaur name, Pachycephalosaurus, It turns out the Pachycephalosaurus probably wasn't a... Sorry. It turns out that Micro Pachycephalosaurus probably wasn't a Pachycephalosaur. The only evidence that it was a Pachycephalosaur is the fact that it's a head dome, which the person who found it said it had. But there is no evidence of it having a head dome. In fact, they don't even have its head. The guy was just like, I found a head dome. And they're like, oh, can we see it? And he's like, no. And they're like, then we can't really prove it's a Pachycephalosaur, can we? No, it is. Just trust me, bro. So, the longest dinosaur... Sorry, the dinosaur with the longest name, the Pachycephalosaur, Micro Pachycephalosaur, might not even be a Pachycephalosaur. It might just be a... It very likely is just a scientist who's like, no, I will not admit I was wrong about something, so we're just gonna have to, like... You're just gonna have to trust me. And everyone's like, no, none of us trust you. Just show us the head. I ain't showing you nothing. The fact that you don't, like, the fact that you want me to show you the head means you don't trust me, which means you don't deserve to be shown the head. That is some bullshit logic. Show us the head. Give us some heads, said the paleontology community. No, said the Chinamen. Mikey Pachycephalosaurus is discovered in China. Actually saying that reminds me of how in the new King of the Hill, they replaced the Khan's voice actor with a Chinese guy. And I've seen people just making the joke for the new voice actor. So are you Chinese or Japanese? Because somehow they cast an Asian guy for the Asian character, and the Asian guy sounds whiter than the white dude who used to voice Khan. It's really bad. It's this guy. It's this kind of painfully unfunny guy who like is like a guest reporter on like the Daily Show or something. Ooh. It's literally just racial casting, which is just disappointing to see. Because Toby Huss, the guy who did Khan's voice, who still works on the show, mind you, they have the voice actor for Khan. He's just not allowed to voice Khan anymore. But Toby Huss, like, he's still a great voice actor, and he gave Khan so much personality, and Khan was so much of his voice. Like, what made Khan great is his voice kind of signified him as an American immigrant. How he had this kind of complicated relationship with being an American immigrant. How he saw himself better than the Americans he came to live with, but at the same time is chasing the American dream. And it's always like this kind of bittersweet thing with his character where he's achieved the American dream, Khan. Khan has a loving family. He's upper middle class. He's, you know, he's a manic depressive, but that's not part of the American dream. That just comes with it, baby. But like he has all this stuff, but because he's not Ted Wasana-song, he tries to like he still thinks there's something to live up to. And there's a tragedy in his character, even though he's typically an antagonist. There's still a tragedy in that allows you to relate to him. That he can't see that he already has everything he could ever want. But he just wants more. He wants to chase this dream he's already achieved. Ooh. Found the internet. Found the internet and didn't have cable when it aired, so only seen a few random episodes and none of the new one. The new one's just premiered on Hulu. It'd be surprising if you've seen the new one. The new ones came out like yesterday, I think. They just dropped all the episodes at once, which is typically not a good sign. It's not necessarily a bad sign. I think Clarkson's Farm also has its episodes drop all at once, and it's a really popular show. But not the best sign. What's terrible about There's one way they can make it work though, and that's if they give Khan back his his accent. And the only reason he lost his accent is because he's trying to mimic Ted Wasana-song. Is that him sounding like this? This is going to be too old of a reference, but like the South Park Chinese people who are doing impressions of white people, where they're like, "I would like some Coke, please." Like that's what Khan sounds like. He sounds like somebody doing an impression of a white person. He sounds like an Asian doing an impression of a white person. He sounds like that. That only works if he's trying to mimic Ted Wasana-song's voice, because Ted Wasana-song, you know, he's a naturalized. He talks. He has no accent when he talks. He just talks like he is another American. But even Ted's voice is like, of course, fake and phony as hell. It only works if he's trying to mimic Ted Wasana-song. And I would only accept that if also he gets his old accent back eventually. Like, he accepts he doesn't need to live up to Ted Wasana-song. He's his own man. Khan is, you know, living his own life. He's a happy man and all that jazz. If it goes to serve that, if it goes to serve Khan having a character arc and accepting himself and his Laotian heritage, which he's always been proud of, where Wasana-song has always used his Laotian heritage if it benefits him, but has kind of been indifferent to it overall. Khan genuinely is proud of his roots and heritage, even though his people and country weren't always the best. Which is a very natural thing for an immigrant into America. If it's done that way, which it probably isn't, I would be actually fine with it. I still would want Toby Huss voicing, but if the accent thing is just because of that, I can understand. If it's just for a character arc, I understand. I just doubt I doubt it's that deep. Clarkson's Farm is so good. I wish there was an American version of it. I wish there was some celebrity who was down to earth, but like still kind of an asshole, because Clarkson is a bit of an asshole. But like a bearable celebrity who just like got a farm. I wish there was like, I don't know, like Kurt Russell's farm or something. Kurt Russell could probably pull it off. Kurt Russell's kind of like, you know, pretty chill. Ooh. But that would be so good if there was like the equivalent of like Clarkson's Farm, because there's a lot of bullshit in the US. Sorry for cursing, but there's a lot of bull crap in the US, just like there is in the UK. And Clarkson's Farm does great work to get the word out to UK citizens about how terribly their food, like the people who make their food, how terribly they're treated. So it's actually like wonderful PR for their agriculture industry. King of the Hill, one problem it had is in its later seasons. So the show, they always wanted there to be a progression of the characters. They wanted Bobby to grow up, and, you know, they wanted the characters to get older, and they wanted it to be a story of Hank Hill growing to appreciate his son, who he doesn't understand as a boy, but coming to, you know, appreciate him and respect him as a man as he grows up into a man. That was the original concept for King of the Hill. A very beautiful story that, honestly, I think Mike Judge could have pulled off wonderfully. But what happens is, in the second season, they have a character hit puberty, and then Fox, who was running the show at the time, literally came in and said, no, you're not allowed to do that. Like, they already made the character hit puberty, so they couldn't, like, undo that. That episode had already been produced and done, but Fox was like, no more. You can't, like, progress the characters anymore. So what they ended up having to do is a show that had, like, a soft status quo. It's not as much like The Simpsons, where everything resets, but, like, they could only make the most minor of things progress. They could only go so far at a time. And so there's a lot that happens in King of the Hill, but there would have been a lot more if the studio, if 20th Century Fox had just let them do it. Ooh. And it hurts some characters more than others. Like, it absolutely destroyed Peggy. I think one of the reasons why Peggy is so hated and such a terrible character is because she was never allowed to progress as a character. She was never... Because she has some... Like, when she's allowed to progress as a character, it's great. She has, like, people hate her because she's stagnant. She's just this arrogant, midwit. And it's very annoying to watch her get away with being an arrogant midwit. But the thing is, like, we can see that there are episodes where they tried to make her progress. And I don't know anyone who dislikes the episodes where Cotton Hill teaches her to walk again. Like, those episodes are great. When she's recovering from, you know, nearly dying. Everyone likes those episodes, even though they're Peggy-centric episodes. But after that, she's just, again, she falls into the curse of, like, okay, that's too much progression. You know, we're done with that now, says Fox. And it's just so damn frustrating. Okay, this one needs to go on like this. So her rivalry with Cotton Hill is legendary. I think there's 1 or 2 times in the entire series where Cotton Hill... There we go. Where Cotton Hill refers to Peggy by her name. Every other time in the series, Cotton Hill calls Peggy Hank's wife. Because he has no respect for Peggy at all. So he just comes into the scene and just goes like, Hank? Hank's wife? Like, he just doesn't... Like, the characters hate each other. And it's understandable, I mean... But their dynamic was always so much fun because they were such bitter frickin' rivals in the show. It was always kind of nice because neither were really perfect people. But, like, even though Cotton is one of the, like, the worst people in King of the Hill... He's not irredeemably bad. He has human moments, which I do like. Even the worst characters in King of the Hill have human moments. Even Buck, who is probably the worst person in King of the Hill, still has a few human moments. Ooh, he has a few self-aware moments. It doesn't really compensate for the fact that he's still kind of a... Oh, I did that wrong. This is embarrassing. It doesn't compensate for the fact that he's still a terrible person. But it's nice that even that character gets moments. Actually, Jesus Christ. Just remembered one of the darkest scenes in King of the Hill is when Cotton Hill, he pretty much can't provide for his family because he has a wife. He remarries and has a son, even though he's super old. He remarries and has a son. And what happens is he can't get a job because he's too old, so he's like... And his military pension isn't paying the bills. So he literally plans to get his service revolver and find a way to get all the money his family could ever have without having him in the way to ruin things anymore. And the only thing that stops him from ending it all is him realizing that he can still, like, he still has time to raise his new son to be a better man, effectively. To, you know, he still has a chance to, you know, he can always do better. He might not be a good person, he might be a burden on others, but he can always fight on for the people around him. And it's just like... That's a very human moment for such, like, a bitter character. Okay, I skipped a step, chat, because I'm a little dumb. Just trying to think of classic King of the Hill episodes now. People also love the Japan one when they go to Japan and find out that Hank has a brother in Japan because Cotton during the war slept with a Japanese nurse while he was getting treated for his shins getting blown off. Ah, cute, fit him in. I love that running gag, how Cotton Hill will just tell strangers how he's killed 50 men. And he always says it, fit him in. But it's always kind of funny when they meet Hank's long-lost brother, and his long-lost brother looks exactly like him. And what's funny about that is the fact that Hank takes after his mother. So if you think about it, it actually doesn't make sense because Hank looks like a male version of his mother. But just don't think about it too much. It's funnier if Hank's long-lost brother is just, you know, a 6'1" Japanese man with the exact same build and almost the exact same face. He just has a different haircut and slightly different eyes. Huh? Good. It is a shame that for the revival of King of the Hill, that the original voice actor for Dale Gribble, whose name escapes me right now, passed away while they were actually in the middle of producing episodes. But from what I've heard, I've seen clips, Toby Huss, who we've already mentioned, actually took his place in the cast. And Toby Huss does a pretty good job as Dale. Actually, it's kind of weird because he can't do an old Dale as well as the old voice actor was doing, so he kind of defaults to a somewhat younger Dale. So it seems that what happens in King of the Hill is when the voice actor who played Dale passes away, the voice actually gets slightly younger. As weird as that sounds. But it's kind of crazy how when they brought back King of the Hill, literally that's... Well, actually even before they brought back King of the Hill, like, voice actors for the series were, like, dropping like flies. I'm kind of surprised that they bothered to bring back King of the Hill when they had already lost, like, a third of their cast for voice actors. It's kind of crazy to think about. Because the voice actress for Luann is gone. Lucky, who was voiced by Tom Petty, he's gone, so it's just like... Ooh. And Tom Petty as Lucky, the entire concept behind the character of Lucky was as directed by Tom Petty, because Tom Petty was like, oh yeah, I'll voice a character. It's like, but like, what I want the character to be is myself if I was never successful. If I was just a trailer trash, just redneck who never made it. That's what I want it to be. And that's why Lucky looks like a redneck version of Tom Petty, because that's literally all his character is. Ooh. Okay, now we need to get the waist joints. I was about to say, like, okay, we're done. No, we have another hour. Oh, God. Let's just cut off these pieces preemptively. Okay. And with this, I won't need this sprue anymore, so I'm just going to throw it back. This might be an offensive thought, but I just kind of had a thought that I don't know if any music genre is as ephemeral as white girl music. Ooh. I'm sorry if that's offensive to say, but that stuff is like hot for like 2 years, and then you never hear those songs again in your entire life. And the only reason you heard those songs to begin with is because you were dating a white girl, or because your mother was playing the music because she's a white girl. I don't know why I thought about that, but I did. I can't think of a music genre that's more ephemeral. Maybe mumble rap. You hear about a new mumble rap for a week, and then nobody talks about that shit ever again. It's gonna be a little messy. I don't know where that thought came from at all. Well, actually, no, I know where that thought came from. It's because when I threw back the thing, I was like, I'm just gonna throw this back. I almost said I'm gonna whip this thing back, and then that just made me think of several songs. Ooh, just like I whip my hair back and forth. I can't even remember the other songs. They all blend together. They all blend together, chat. I don't know how to recall these songs when they're all the same. It's like boy band songs from the early 2000s. Like I don't know the difference between Backstreet Boys and NSYNC. You think I know the difference between those? God no. Jesus Christ. I honestly, if you showed me a picture of Backstreet Boys and a picture of NSYNC, they could literally have the name on the picture. It could be Backstreet Boys with their name right there. Backstreet Boys, NSYNC, a group shot with NSYNC in the picture. I would still go like, I don't know which one is which. And it's like, Merrick, read. And I'm like, but how do I know those are the correct names? It's like, Merrick, for the love of God. Like, you can't tell the difference between NSYNC and Backstreet Boys. Why would I? That's the real question. Why would I be able to? I listened to a bit of... I got a wide musical palette from my mom as well, in all honesty. She just also listened to white girl music. Ooh. She loved Pink. Ooh. Pink's okay. Pink is a little bit better than other... It's not as poppy. Pink is like kind of more like punk pop. So it's not your typical affair. It's not like Katy Perry and whatnot, where everyone was losing their minds over the song Roar for like 6 months. And I've never heard anyone bring up the song Roar since then. Like, everyone was like, if you don't know this song, I don't blame you. But everyone was losing their shit over, like, Katy Perry's Roar. And I was like, how does the song go? I don't remember. That's how unremember it goes. At one point, she goes like, I roar. And it goes like, I roar. And it's like, I don't know what's going on here. But it's just... That is peak white girl music. Everyone was saying it's like the hottest thing ever, it's the greatest song ever, and you never hear about it again after 6 months. It just doesn't exist anymore. I would not be surprised. I would be surprised if any of you have thought of that song since like it came out. I think it might have been 9 years ago that song came out, if not 10. Ooh. That is what it means to be white girl music. It's like, what's that other song? It's I think, is it also Katy Perry? It's like, this is crazy, but here's my number, so call me maybe. Ooh. It's not that bad in the original version. I will admit that, but it's still not great. So that song's kind of funny, because if you've seen the music video for Call Me Maybe, what happens is it's like her giving her phone number to a guy she thinks is cute, and she's like really nervous about it, and she's like, oh my goodness, how am I going to give this guy who's really cute my number? Girls aren't supposed to make the advance. And then at the end of the music video, it just turns out he's gay. I will admit, that's actually pretty funny in the music video. It's just, the whole song is about her getting up like the snuff to like, you know, ask him out. And then it's just like, and then, you know, she like goes up to him and like says like, how's it going? It's like, hey, and then his like boyfriend comes over and kisses him on the lips or some shit. I will admit, that's actually a funny music video for that ending alone. Probably heard it, but didn't know who it was by the title. I can't blame me again. People are acting like Katy Perry was the hottest shit ever. And honestly, I couldn't tell you like songs by her that weren't one of the two that I've already mentioned, just fully transparent. Not sure who did that one, but I know I have heard it. I think Call Me Maybe was also Katy Perry, but don't quote me on that. Get the frick out of here. I'm like 90% sure. There's like a tiny little gnat fly. that is being attracted by the light. So I'm gonna point the light slightly away, so that way it'll fly over there. Ooh. Oh, it's late. Okay, I need to wrap this up. And let's see here. Pretty much all of these pieces are going to be being cut off, so I don't know why I'm like double checking everything. I already made the weapons, but I'm trying not to cut off things prematurely is what I'm doing. There's still a few more steps, so there's no reason to cut off things that won't be used until the next page. I already cut off that. That's somewhere. I know I cut off this piece. C3. Ooh. I might have to take the dog out. Sounds like he's being a bother. Only song I know by her is for sure is the Kissed a Girl one and Made Her Famous. Never paid attention after that. I forgot about that one, but that was also another one. Like, her entire thing is just, like, having songs that people were like, this is the greatest shit ever. And then I'd never heard about after, since. I kissed a girl and I liked it. Ooh. I'll admit, though, I never heard any Billie Eilish music. I've never heard a guy say they like Billie Eilish music. Not to say that's not a possibility, but, like, I've never heard a dude bring up Billie Eilish outside of, like, when she's said, like, some really sexist things. Like, how she, like, once said, like, oh, yeah, all men are terrible. And it's like, isn't the whole, like, wasn't your original, like, producer, your first ever producer and person who recorded your music, wasn't that your brother? Like, you know you're throwing him under the bus when you say all men are terrible, right? And it's like, well, I don't mean him. And it's like, well, then don't say all men. It's kind of basic English. If you don't mean everyone, why are you saying everyone? You confuse me. It looks like I don't need to cut that off. Ooh. Funny, today I saw girls on the bus with green waves and black hoodie with makeup. Billy from Tenmu, damn. That's what's mean. Ooh. Ooh. I don't think I've ever heard a Billie Eilish song no, I've heard Bad Guy. I've heard Bad Guy, and everyone loves Bad Guy, or at least women love Bad Guy. Again, I've just not heard guys ever bring it up. And I heard Bad Guy, and I was like, okay, when I heard it. And people treat it like it's like, and like the women who love it treat it like it's one of the greatest songs ever, and I'm like, okay. I don't know what that is about at all. But then again, I've never heard a guy bring up Pink. I don't think I ever heard a guy bring up Katy Perry. I don't think the only time I think I ever heard a guy bring up Taylor Swift is being like, ah, she's kind of attractive. This is a different demographic. I might have to do a BRB real quick because it sounds like the dog is really losing its shit. I always thought her green dye job was like ugly as hell. I will say that about Billie Eilish. I don't think she still does that. Maybe she does. I really don't know. But I always thought like that dye job she had was just absolutely hideous. Ooh. I'm trying to think of music, because Mostly what I listen to is kind of just older music, and I really should keep up with more modern stuff. Like, I listen to, like, Queen, Motorhead, Prince, Michael Jackson. I listen to Sabaton, but very limited. It kind of depends if, like, they're covering a historical period I give a damn about. If it's not a period I already care about, I kind of just go like, okay, that's a cool Sabaton song. So what that means is I only have, like, their Great War albums. Oh god, I just remember, I was trying to go through, like, female artists who appeal to other women. And I just remembered, like, the saddest of them all, who probably has some kind of, like, mental disorder or something, who might have a psychosis of some kind. I just remembered Britney Spears, who was effectively groomed into being a pop star by her father, if I remember correctly. And then she had a mental breakdown because she was fucking groomed into a pop star. And she was found mentally unfit to to be responsible for herself. So the person who was given responsibility for her, her finances, and everything about her was the dad. The dad who is believed to have groomed her into, you know, again, being, you know, this insecure pop star to begin with. And it's just like, oh my god. Like, you might think that, that child protective services are bad, but imagine if you had a court that literally found you weren't competent enough to be considered an adult, and then had you perpetually considered a child under the care of your allegedly abusive father. That's just the most like, I forget what it's called, but just child protective services stereotype thing I could imagine. Just so bad that even when you become an adult, you can't escape it. Ooh, if it's not a classic rock or metal, yeah, I don't know why my voice broke there. Or metal, all I listen to are a few YouTube channels that play full albums or small unknown or UK based bands. Sadly, if she needs someone, it's just ain't me. I'm nodding off. Thanks for the stream, Merrick. Some real good rambles. I hope you have a great night. Hope you have a real good rest there, Opus. I cut out all this stuff and now I don't know what goes where. Maybe I should have thought this out. Did I ever cut out C21? I never cut out the first piece we were supposed to cut out. I never cut out. That is a little typical. I don't want to admit that, but that's exactly the kind of thing that happens here. Ooh. There we go. And then we're going to put this here. There we go. Then we're going to take this. I cut out the other one, right? Yes, I did. But I need to put this right here, like this. Okay. There is something I wanted to talk about, but I keep not getting to my topics, which is fine because I can just use the topics later. Oh, that's the topics for another day. You know what? That's a slight little topic and a good change of pace. I am really happy talking about, like, artists and mental health, entertainers and mental health. I'm really happy to see how Saba is doing. How free from the expectations and chains of Hololive, and what the hell? I am so sorry. I just realized for some reason my microphone was doubled in its reception, so if I was a little loud there, I'm very sorry. Sometimes my microphone does that. I hate the Elgato for it. It will just increase my volume. So if I was loud there, or if I had like a bit of an echo because it was picking up so much, I apologize for that. Ooh. I really need to get a better mic. A mic that doesn't just turn itself up in volume like that. Ooh. Well, that was the entire stream that was like that. So I'm gonna have some uneven audio. Luckily, OBS should have been compensating regardless. So I do have it gated. I have it limited on OBS. Let me see how that looks. It doesn't look too bad when it was up higher. Let me turn it back so it's softer. Let me see here. Oh, the humanity of my stupidity. But it is nice seeing Saba in better mental health, streaming more, just doing her own thing. It is kind of baffling to me how little support it kind of looked like she was getting at HoloLive. Because I don't know why HoloLive just doesn't want to upgrade some of their VTuber models, but a lot of their models are old as hell. And it's insane how just it feels like they're not being upgraded to a certain extent. I guess this is not considered cost effective or necessary. 1 second, the dog's doing. And the BRB isn't working, but I'll be right back. Sorry about that. The dog was literally throwing his bowl. He does this thing where he'll flip his bowl upside down, and then once he flips his bowl upside down, he'll be convinced that there is now food under it. There wasn't food in it before he flipped it. But now that it's upside down, he can't see what's under it, so he's convinced there must be food, so he just starts hitting it. And when I say hitting it, I mean he goes like, he smacks it as hard as he can trying to flip it, and it just goes flying across the floor, going into everything. So you just hear it sliding across and then hitting the wall, hitting this or that, and it's just this ting 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 ting. And it's awful. So sorry about that. Ooh. I don't think you guys could hear it, but it sounded like he was doing something far worse out there. Ooh, you found Gnome and Laser Beam. That sounds like some niche stuff, man. That sounds like some good niche stuff, though. C3? A1. A116. I don't think we're gonna build the secondary head today. Just because it's very late and I wanted to start stream earlier. But I don't know. I'm not quite sure what we'll do. We might start a stream early so we can build the secondary head. I'm not quite certain. It depends on how much time we'll have left. I don't want to go over 3 hours, this is my concern. This rendition of Dixie always reminds me of, like, something I'd expect to hear in a Toy Story movie for Woody. I think it just says Dixie, but it's an orchestral version of it. If you search for laser beam and add fucking... I am not in the mood right now for this little bastard. There's a gnat fly in here, buzzing around. Search for laser beam and you will see some dude called Laser Beam with 23 million subs and... Ooh. So he's like a complete independent artist, but he looks like he's got a good following. I mean, 23 million is damn good. What genre does he play, if I may ask? Laser beam sounds like it'd be something electronic, but for all I know, it could turn out the dude's like a really good... Is this like an every instrumental kind of person, or he just really likes he's actually just a really fan of acoustic guitars or something, I don't know. Those people who can play multiple instruments always amaze me, because I can't even play one instrument. Ooh. It's like for me, it's like an illiterate person seeing somebody who can read in multiple languages. It's just like, I can't read in English. How can you do it in multiple? Ooh. Especially when the instruments have, like, nothing in common. Okay. Let's see here, and then we already have those pieces cut out. We need the backing pieces, which are C. We have those pieces cut out as well. Okay. I need to, next Peak collab, I need to figure out how to make it so Peak reads my Elgato, because I despise NVIDIA broadcasts with a burning passion. For the first 6 months of streaming, I used NVIDIA Broadcast, actually for like for the first 6 months I used NVIDIA Broadcast, and I tried every stream to get it to work and sound good, and it literally just made my audio sound worse every time. And in Peak, it's like, it makes everything reverberate, it makes everything just sound like I'm in a tin can. Like, I don't have the best setup already, but it, like, somehow makes my already crap setup sound worse when the entire point of NVIDIA Broadcast is so it doesn't do that. It is highly frustrating. Almost as frustrating as the fact that I put on these pieces without putting in the middle piece. That's more frustrating, though. Okay, I'm gonna need tweezers, but not those ones. I'm gonna need this container. What? Dude with a... Oh, okay. So let me actually make some... Oh, laser beam. Lazar. Then laser beam band. Okay. So this is a very close name by coincidence. And what if Lazar Beam is actually just Lazarus, and when Jesus brought him back from the dead, he actually made him an immortal and gave him laser beam eyes, and that's why he is now known as Lazar Beam. Ooh. Or he's a Star Wars character with a name like Lazar Beam. That sounds... that is an incredibly Star Wars sounding name now that I say it out loud. Lazar Beam. one of the hardest names in Star Wars. That is probably complete gibberish, but it goes so hard for some reason. Probably the name Exar Kun. I don't know what that name is derived from, but something about the name Exar Kun sounds so damn cool. And if you don't know who Exar Kun was, he was like a fallen Jedi before wider Star Wars lore really knew what the difference between a dark Jedi and like a fallen Jedi and a Sith. So it's like he's a Sith, but then like they didn't really realize that all Sith had red lightsabers. So he kind of became recontextualized as just like, nah, he's just a Jedi who, you know, rebelled, who did a bunch of crazy stuff with the dark side, had no connection with the Sith whatsoever, you know. But, you know, just happens to be one of the like most influential dark side users in all of history. Just happened one day, you know. And it's just like, wait. Yeah, he also coincidentally went to Yavin 4, which has a bunch of temples to the dark side. He just coincidentally went there. It's just... Oh god, the recontextualization of Exar Kun is actually one of the funnier pieces of Star Wars lore. Knights of the Old Republic. Knights of the Old Republic is... Oh my god, I need to finish Knights of the Old Republic. I don't really play Knights of the Old Republic very often on stream because when I do, the streams go for 8 hours. That's not hyperbole. I'm a very big classic Star Wars fan. So whenever we do, let me see here, B1. Damn it, we still need the Bs. Whenever we do those streams, they go for a while. I'll just start monologuing about like some rant, like they'll mention something about like the Mandalorians. I remember I just went on a monologue about the Mandalorians because they just brought up Basilisk War Droids, and I was like, oh, Basilisk War Droids, and then I just started talking about like all the things the Mandalorians did during the Old Republic and how they're so cool and all this like random shit. And that's why we don't play KOTOR very often. Because I cannot contain myself. I could probably talk about Walker lore for like, if a Walker appeared in that game, I'd probably just go on a tangent about Walker lore and why the AT-AT walks higher than the AT-TE. And what AT-AT means versus AT-TE, because AT-TE means tactical enforcer, but AT-AT means all-terrain attack transport, because it's underappreciated that the AT-AT is actually a transport vehicle, and that's why it doesn't have like more weapons on it, because its primary purpose is to get troops to the battle line. It's not a tank, it's a armored personnel carrier, and it has those long legs to keep it high off the ground from enemy fire, effectively, is like the idea, and like mines and whatnot. So that way it can keep the crew safe as possible and how they get down as they repel. This is why we're not allowed to talk about KOTOR. My Star Wars lore is exclusive to KOTOR and pre-Disney movies. That's pretty much me too. But not pre-Disney movies, but like pre-Disney is where all my lore is. I don't care about anything after Disney. I have not seen The Last Jedi since watching it in theaters because it was one of the worst experiences, one of the worst movie-going experiences of my life. It actually was the worst movie-going experience of my life. I walked into that theater thinking that he could not, like... This was the standard I had. This is what I thought walking into The Last Jedi is, he can't do worse than J.J. Abrams. Because I did not like The Force Awakens. And I thought he can't be worse than J.J. Abrams. And I was wrong. Within the first 5 minutes of the movie, I had lost all hope. By 15 minutes into the film, I was dead inside. And I couldn't leave the movie theater because I went with family. So I just had to sit there and watch the worst filmic experience of my life the whole way through, and I could not get up and leave at any point. It was absolute hell. You watched the first two Rogue One in a season of Mando? I didn't even watch Mando. I've had Andor suggested to me, but I just haven't gotten to it yet. Because I just have so many other things. I still need to finish RE0 and Gundam X, for God's sake. And then there's a new Spice and Wolf that I need to watch, and I love Spice and Wolf, so like there's personal things and things for other people I need to watch. And this is not set properly, but I don't care. It's set enough. Yeah, there's so little time to watch everything that you want. When you're young, you're like, I can just sit down and watch things all day. And then when you're old, it's like, I wish I could sit down and watch things all day, but I have things called responsibilities. Pretty gay and lame, I'm not gonna lie. It's actually really hard to balance because I also need to like continue reading Flowers for Algernon, which has been an amazing story. Ooh. Like it has, like the whole story is about a man gaining intelligence, but all the heart of Flowers for Algernon is him, despite how fast his intelligence is growing, is him having to unlock his emotional intelligence at a far slower rate, and all the pain that entails. Ooh. It's very good. And everything I kind of saw coming early on in the book is coming to fruition, so I feel very proud in predicting that. Ooh. Spice and Wolf was just a remake that got a little farther than the OG anime. Was it canceled again? Or... Ooh. Because like the whole like thing is like the creator like literally opened up sales of the manga and whatnot to like get funding for a remake. I hope it wasn't canceled again. That Spice and Wolf, I genuinely love that story. So hearing that if the anime was canceled again, that'd be a bummer. I hope it gets another season. It sounded like it did well. Ooh. And I'm having trouble figuring this out. I don't know why this isn't lining up. Okay. And then... Ah, finally, I get these pieces off. I still need to finish buying all the manga for Spice and Wolf. Just you know, buying all that manga at once is not really the economically wisest decision, but I really need to. There may be... Okay, so it hasn't been canceled. Okay. I hope it keeps going. Spice and Wolf, again, is a story that I really, really like. And also, it would be heartbreaking to learn that it was canceled so soon after the original creator literally, like, did a bunch of things to get interest and funding into it again. Ooh. But also, like, a lot of people don't know, like, the future of ReZero either. Ooh. That's actually been a concern I've been seeing going around, is with ReZero, and what am I doing wrong here? Oh my god, it's so hard to see. I was putting it on backwards. With ReZero, like, its production company, the animation studio rather, has like been sold off, and people are like, well, God knows like how ReZero is going to be treated. Is it going to have even good animation anymore? So that, like, a lot of people are nervous about that. Come on. Sorry. Just go on. it won't go on because I was supposed to put these on beforehand, which I misunderstood because I thought it was like the previous piece where these go on after. So let me leverage this. Ooh. Oh, got us. Season 2 listed as unaired, so it must have been announced. Okay. That's good. I still actually listen to the original Spice and Wolf opening. Season 1 had a better opening, but I think Season 2 had the better closer. Absolutely love Journey's Midway from Season 1. And thank you for just... Okay. Then we need to put this on. A17. Next time I do a master grade, I might split it into 4 parts. Because I don't like doing 3-hour streams for Gundam building. Especially considering it means I should be starting a lot earlier. I can't always promise I can be starting that much earlier. No, that's... Crap, I forget which one is G2. There's G3. No, there's G2. A lot of actual fans of it's kind of weird for ReZero. A lot of fans almost have like this resignation that it's like the adaptation is going to stop at like arc 6 or something. Like they keep saying it's like, oh, at that point they just won't be able to like adapt it anymore. And I'm like, why not? Like I kind of want to ask that, but I know that'd be like I'll get spoiled. But I'm like, why do you people keep insisting that you can't have a good thing like past a certain point? Let me see here. Okay, so it's blown up these pieces so I can see them better. So it's telling me it gets plugged in right there. Okay. Then A1 steak sauce is not that good. And quite frankly, if you have to put A1 onto your steak, that is a sign that your steak was not very well cooked. I'm going to be 100% honest with you. Ooh. In fact, I would find it more of an insult to put A1 steak sauce on a steak than I would seeing somebody put ketchup on a steak. I'll be 100% honest with you, chat. Ooh. And then you have this piece, this piece. Looks like I have a little more panel lining I can do. This goes here. This goes here. And then I'm so annoyed right now by this little fly buzzing about, being a bother. I hope it's just a one-off bug that got inside and it's not because somebody left food out or something and there's more of them. Yeah, I'd be genuinely pissed. There we go. God, I need to start making shorts again. I have the clips, but actually, sadly, a bunch of long-form clips I was planning to make into a compilation. I recorded them all at the wrong audio level, so I have to record, like, several minutes of clips all over again. Oh, the joys of being your own editor. When you don't have the time to edit anything to begin with. God, I need to rewatch Planets. It's just a list of things that I just need to do it one at a time, and I need to choose priority. I'm gonna choose priority right now. I'm gonna choose priority on Gundam X. And ReZero. Those are my two priorities. Ooh. Actually, I'm gonna talk about some ReZero community drama that's happened recently. Because it seems that every few months, it's like its own little version of the VTubing community almost. Every few months, there's this catastrophic drama that happens in the ReZero community for a little Nat's vinegar and sugar with tiny bit of soap. Well, yeah, they'll find it and drown in it. Ooh, I might do that. If there's more than one, I'll do that. But if it's just one, I can probably get it when it lands, or sometimes they kind of fly slowly and I can just smack them out of the air. Ooh. But yeah, if somebody left food out and we have like a minor infestation, because those things can breed fast. Ooh, I'll definitely probably do that. Thanks for the reminder of how to do that. Wasn't thinking about that. Ooh. And why are you not going in? No, it's clean, so why aren't you doing it? Okay. But on to... Please tell me I didn't do that wrong. No. The ReZero community, which I'm not really... I watch ReZero, but I'm not really a part of the ReZero community. Wait, what? I'm just confused by that. But it looks like it's the shield joint from earlier. But the drama that happens is, weirdly, every few months, somebody be a groomer, and it keeps happening. And I can't tell you why or how it keeps happening, but it does just keep happening for some reason. It's kind of weird. Ooh. It's like people will find, like, I'll just say, like, in my Discord, like, there's a rule: if you're not over 18, don't come in here. If I find out you come into my my Discord and you're like underage, you will be kicked out of the Discord. You will be banned from the Discord, because like nothing on the Discord is inappropriate for kids, but at the same time, like, kids should not be there. It's that kind of thing. And I don't understand the thing of just like interacting with somebody, you find out they're a kid, and you don't go, okay, bye, immediately. That's what I don't get. And let's just cut out this piece already. Like, it keeps happening. I never get into the communities, but I follow and am followed by several people in the ReZero community, so I've just been seeing that happen recently, and I've just been like, I don't know what's happening or why, but everything is on fire again, and oh, somebody, a 19-year-old was like talking inappropriately with a 16-year-old, which is like better than somebody in their 20s, but it's still not fucking good. It's like, okay, you know, like, it's like, you know, it's like, oh, hey, that war crime, you know, only you'll get 500 people in that war crime instead of 1,000. Well, it's still bad either way. It's that kind of feel. It's like, oh, well, here we go, like with this bullshit again. And it's just really, really confusing again. Why? Like, I can understand, like, you're 18, you're interacting with a 17-year-old. That's different. And what that is, but like, that's if you're interacting with it. Why are you, like, saying inappropriate things to these people when they're underage and you're above age? Like, that's what, like, it's not just like they're interacting with them. It's the fact that they're, like, saying fucked up things with them. Like, they're encouraging it and they're saying it back, and it's like, no, stop it. Like, why? Why are you like this? And then they go like, well, I just wasn't thinking about it. That's the thing. A normal person doesn't have to think about it. They just don't fucking do it. Like, that's what's wild. I'm not quite finished building that. I'm talking about ReZero community drama. Because I saw it today and I was like, it's just like, what is going on? ReZero community is who found yet a second groomer has hit the tower, Mr. President. Okay. At the rate it's going, ReZero is going to be known more for its groomers in its community than like what the story is about. It's gonna become like the Smash of anime. Okay? Nobody brings up Smash, bro. Like, most of the time when people bring up Smash Bros, it's to bring up the groomers. It's to bring up the pederasts and the pedos and whatnot. Ooh. And that's what it's gonna be like with ReZero community at this rate. Is that the only reason people are gonna bring it up is it's just gonna be like, ah, you watch ReZero when you're an adult? So, how many children have you tried to groom? Is this gonna become like that eventually? Is this gonna... Oh god, it's so terrible. And I say this as somebody who watches ReZero, but I'm not part of the community, so I'm just watching this and just like, ah, shit, I'm gonna get roped into this. Ooh. Same thing happened with Smash Bros. I love Smash Bros. Never interacted with the community once in my life. And then I just find out, oh yeah, there's a stereotype about Smash players. And it's like, what the fuck were you people doing? I was literally like, I was even playing online. I was just playing with my friends and making them angry because I was better than them and they never stood a chance. And then I find out you people are just doing... What is wrong with you people? Oh my god, it's gonna happen all over again with the ReZero community. What's wrong with a dog groomer? Oh wait, yeah. Man, I remember when the term groomer just meant either, again, dog groomer, meant like an animal groomer, or somebody who was like, you know, like somebody who was apprenticing somebody. Like, because that was also a term for groomer. Like, he was grooming him to be his successor or something. Now it's just like, yeah, like, you're a soft-core pedo. And it's like... It's so fucked up. It's like, you have, like... I don't want to say decency, because it's not decency. But you're smart enough to wait until they're of age. But you're still a creep who's like looking at them and being like, well, let's preheat the oven, as it's called. And it's like, when I heard that term for the first time, I was like, that's the most disgusting term I've ever heard. What is wrong with you people? God, preheat the oven is a pretty bad one. Ooh. Like, I think the solution is pretty obvious though. When you see somebody who's not of age, don't get a boner for them. Somehow this is a really complicated issue for some people to figure out, and that's kind of crazy to me. Doesn't feel like a complicated issue, but who am I to say? See here. Okay, yeah, so this is in the correct place. You and Ari are the only ones I ever hear talk about ReZero. Ooh, it's a good series. It's a good series. I promise, like, I don't know why. Just don't interact with the community is what I'd say. I don't. I just see the community implode every couple of months, and I'm like, oh, what happened this time? And it's just like, oh, you know, like, what, like, and I was like, I don't know. Was it grooming, or was it, you know, somebody literally manipulating somebody for months on end? It's like, which one is it? And it's like, ah. The funniest thing is the PDF also becoming the nasty word. It's either PDF or the file for that. Yeah. But the reason for that is because on certain places you're not allowed to use that word. So even if you're calling them out, you'll be, you know, demoted in the algorithm. I don't know if that's true for YouTube, but it might be. I don't care. But you'll be demoted in the algorithm. A lot of it is actually from TikTok, because TikTok is super censorious. So a lot of the slang you hear is gated to get around. Sorry that I turned away. Is to get around TikTok censorship. So you might be like, wow, those terms sound really stupid, and why do Zoomers talk like that? It's because social media doesn't let them say the actual word. It's not because the Zoomers are afraid to say the word. The Zoomers don't care about saying the word. It's like how millennials didn't really care about saying slurs. Like, no, millennials don't care about slurs. They say the slurs all the time, 9 times out of 10. However, social media doesn't like them saying the slurs, so they will say, like, you know, the letter followed by the word, like they say, like, this or that letter, then word. They don't actually care most of the time. In private, millennials often will use the word without batting an eye. It's not because they're afraid to say the word, it's because social media doesn't let them say it. Yeah, censorship, exactly. Tiananmen Square, that's the most dangerous, yeah. No, the most dangerous word is Taiwan. One of my favorite things to do is whenever I see just Chinese propaganda posts, is just like, either to say Taiwan #1, because that's just really funny because it triggers. But also, like, a lot of times, whenever I see these posts which are like, oh, look how advanced China is, and it's some shit that's been done in the West for the last, like, 30 or, like, 100 years, it baffles me. Like, they were like, oh, look, China made roads through cliff sides. And it's just like, you know, these roads that were made through the sides of cliffs and whatnot. And my immediate thought was just like, oh, shit, I've been to Kentucky. Like, Kentucky's been doing this for over 100 years. And they're like, wow, look how advanced China is. And I just have to say, if you are playing catch-up with Kentucky, I'm not quite sure if you should be labeled a first world country. I'll be 100% honest. If Kentucky is, like, making you look primitive, that's a problem. I'll be 100% real with you. Ooh. That was a crazy post, though, and everyone kind of like mocked them for it, because what it was actually an example of was Chinese over-engineering, and I don't mean over-engineering like they're making things super secure. No, China has public work projects that exist simply to spend money and be like, oh, look, we're doing something, central government. They have those. It's like the fact that they have a bunch of empty cities. They have roads that go to nowhere. And it's not that the roads are incomplete, it's that the roads literally go to nowhere. They have they have like tracks for trains that go to nowhere. They have cities that are empty because they are just building things for the sake of building things, so that way they can say like, oh, look at our job market, or look at our, you know, GDP. We're doing things. But in the long run, they're just making a hollow country that can never be filled, and it's just going to create a lot of problems over time. Ooh. The long-term effects of China's, what's the term I'm looking for? It's not industry, but I'm just losing the word, but their public works and their construction is gonna be unmanageable in the future. Like, where other places, like you have Detroit or whatever, where you have people leaving the city and then you don't have enough funds to maintain the city, there were never people in these cities to begin with. There were never people using these roads to begin with in China. So it's just like, what are you gonna do? Like, it's gonna look good for a few years, and then it's just gonna become abandoned infrastructure. Infrastructure was the word. Ooh. Catfishing in China is a synonymous word. They do a lot of catfishing in China? Huh. Ooh. Don't forget the Winnie the Pooh. Yeah, that's probably the only band. Yeah, the Winnie the Pooh thing is so funny that he's just like, he's insecure that people call him Winnie the Pooh. Oh, hey, I'm going to compare you to one of the most beloved characters in fiction. Like, yeah, they don't mean it in like they don't mean it in a nice way. They mean it in a mocking way, but like, they chose one of the nicest characters in fiction to mock you with, and you're still like shitting your pants and going, how dare you do that? It's like, dude, if people were making fun of me and the best they could do is call me Winnie the Pooh, I'd be like, thank you, bro. Winnie is such a goat. Yeah, empty cities. But we have the legs. Got long legs. It might be taller than the Zazabi. And we will be doing a size comparison with the Zazabi. Sorry, some spray got on it. Let's put on the head for this beautiful kit. And it looks really, really nice. Let me get out... I want to get out the shield, because I really like the beam shield for this guy. I liked it on the high grade as well, but we're going to get out the high grade, and we're going to get out some of our biggest high grades, but we're going to get out the high grade F91 first, because I just want to see what the size comparison is, because the F91 high grade is my go-to for like being like, look at this tiny little boy. So I just want to see what he looks like, you know, next to something big for once, you know? I want the F91 to feel big for once, and the only thing I can do to get that effect is another F91, which feels poetic. Ooh, I'll grab that right now, and I'll put him on the edge of the screen so you know he's there. You can already see how much smaller he is. I don't have this. Wait, how do I? Wait. Oh, there's the F91 stickers. Are these? Wait, no, these are. Oh, these are decals, which I appreciate, but I do not have. I don't know how to do decals, actually. I don't know how to do decals, so this'll have to wait. Sorry we can't do that. I've never done decals before, and I'm not going to do my first decals on what is feeling like my favorite master grade so far. Ooh. Our government recently just signed a big deal with China, and it was like time to move into Japan to live with my grandparents over there. Oh my goodness. That's the thing, like, whenever China signs a deal, it's never a good deal for whoever else is signing it. It's always predatory, it's always, like, just the worst shit ever for the other signee. Like, there's no, China has no consideration for, like, their partners doing well, even when it's just basic understanding that if your partners do well, you do well. And they're like, no, we want everything. Their greed knows no limits, but it actually reminds me of a post I made yesterday where somebody was like talking about like how it's kind of frightening to think like what China would be like as a world hegemon. And all I can think of is just like during the pandemic, these people, like the Chinese government locked their own citizens inside their apartments to die. They did that to their own citizens. They will kill their own people without hesitation. Imagine how they treat the rest of the world. That's why China can, like, never be allowed to, like, get to become a true hegemon. Because they will just kill people. They will not hesitate to slaughter people. The only reason they don't do it now is because there would be consequences. And that's how bad of a country they are. Ooh. Stickers or water slide? Water slides are like, those are water slide decals. Those I thought maybe they were dry transfers, but there is a little piece of paper, and I know that this is, I know what you're supposed to do is you're supposed to like put this on the paper. You're supposed to cut it out, put it on the paper, and then like it'll be lifted up like almost like a temporary tattoo or something, and they can, you know, transfer it to this part using the paper somehow, but I've never done that. So it is a decal transfer. I just don't know how to do that. Here someone is about to showing off his Gunpla collection. I'm looking for you, Matic. This is just a beautiful kit, and I really need to put like the last pieces on it. I always love these guns on this model. I love how when they're on the back, even though they're not used for flight, they look like they are like extra thrusters when they're on the back, and I really, really like that look. They're not, they're beam cannons, but it's also cool how, like, you know, they become underslung beam cannons, how you kind of have to lift up his arm a little, but they go under his arm, and you can, I'm not going to do it with both, because I just don't want to right now. But let me see if I can get this out. Okay. And then I'm not going to swap out his hands, but you can have him hold the beam cannon under his arms. You can have him do like some really cool poses. I'm really happy with that. Ooh. It fell off, but that's because I applied pressure to it weirdly. That was my fault. Our country used to suffer from a communist insurgency without the early help of the British, Australia, and New Zealand, and small contribution from the US. We probably would have, yeah. That's the thing, it's just like, it's just a real shit show overall with like communism, because it's a totalizing ideology. It's like, it's not totalitarian, it's totalizing. It has to be all encompassing is like a big problem with it, is it's like every part of your life has to be encompassed by the ideology. And that's why it's so insidious, is that you don't get to have private thoughts. You have to have thoughts of the community and whatnot. Ooh, but let's get to the size comparison, and look. It feels like I've never been more satisfied seeing a master grade to high grade size comparison before. Also, I love how you can see the difference in like color separation and whatnot, because this guy's so small that he doesn't really have a lot of opportunity for color separation, but you can see all the added color with this guy and how nice it looks. Ooh. Now let's make him look small real quick. Ooh. It's been a long time since I've done water slides, take a bit of practice, and that was cars, I assume. That Gunpla is a little more difficult, because on cars you'd have like that big hood for a canvas, I'd imagine. I haven't done cars either, but I'd imagine because you have the big hood, but here I just have, you know, I just have these shoulder pads, so there's a smaller area, and there's no real guidelines for me to follow. So I'm a little nervous about doing it here. To get things out. I am surprised that its legs did not fall off. But I'm going to compare it to a 1-year war, because it's the other mobile suit I have, and yeah, look how small he is. Like, compared to a high grade of the same thing, he looks actually big, but you can appreciate just how small this kit is overall when I put him next to a standard high master grade. Ooh. And he actually, God, it's a really nice detailed kit. This kit's like from the early 2000s. This kit is from 2016, 2018, and it just looks absolutely beautiful. Because I had to reset the skirt. I think I might have damaged the skirt alignment a little bit, so the one thing I didn't want to do was damage this kit. I think I did damage this kit right here, but everything else fits perfectly, and the only thing that doesn't fit perfectly was my fault. But what I really want to do right now is I want to see, is a high grade yes, it's bigger than him. bowl of water, tweezers, probably a decal softener. I know that I can use, maybe not these ones, but if I use tightly packed Q-tips, you can use them to like dry off the decal so it sets quicker. But I have to be careful that it has to be like good, high quality ones, because like this would, these cotton swabs would leave cotton behind. So I know that I'd need some more supplies as well. If I remember, you have plenty of time to move it around and keep it in the area you wet. Yeah, I think, as I was saying, that's what I think the things like cotton is for, is so you can actually set it into place quicker so you don't have to worry about it shifting after you set it. Plus, a hobby knife, forgot the hobby knives, yeah, I have seen people usually use the points of hobby knives for fine point control. I'm showing off. Well, look how it's smaller than a high grade. Oh, that's wonderful, but it's still wonderfully detailed. Like, even though it's smaller than this high grade, I've never encountered a high grade that comes even close to this quality of build. It is the smallest master grade I own, and I would say it's easily the best quality master grade I own. And the last master grade we built was the RX-78 from Gundam The Origin. I have built the Gundam Barbatos master grade, which people I've heard always say is a great master grade. I was a little underwhelmed by it. This is, right now, my favorite master grade I've ever built. It is satisfying to hold in hand. These parts are a little loose in hand, I'll admit. Like when I grab it, feeling these collapse in so easily is a little unsatisfying, but if I hold him by the legs, if I hold him by his arms, if I just move him around, everything feels so nice about this guy, and it's a kit I would recommend. If you see this kit, I'd recommend it. There is a light up function you can do with him. I don't have the thing to put in him for the light up function, but he can actually have a light up function. You can push a button and have his chest light up in low light, have his thrusters light up, have like look even cooler. And I'm really happy I built this. I'm really happy you guys voted for this. That's actually a good point. I should see if I can find some easy water slides, maybe at Hobby Lobby or okay. But I would say that is the kit, and he has. I do actually have to make one point, and I was hoping this wouldn't be the issue, something I'd have to mention, but he appears to have a bit of real grade syndrome. And if you know what that, if you don't know what I mean by that, I mean that he's a kit that's so small that all of his high detail comes at the cost that all of his pieces don't fit together perfectly, and it would appear that is true for this piece right here. Now, mind you, this is the only piece in the entire kit that doesn't fit on properly, and I just put some plastic cement on the joint. Not the joint, but on the fixture. But these parts are kind of loose. The thrusters on his legs are a bit loose. But outside of that, in all honesty, everything is really tight. Everything comes together real cleanly. I'm surprised his V-fins haven't fallen off again, because earlier last week when we were building, his V-fin fell off, but even when he was in the box and being moved around, it hasn't fallen off again. I can feel this one is a little loose, and it should be glued in. But the other one, this one on his right side, is fine. His arms go up about that far. I detect skill issues. I don't think it's a skill issue if the part falls off. The skill issue was the fact that I damaged this skirt right here. That was a skill issue. But his shoulders can go up. Oh, and actually, before we sign off, let's see how well his play feature is. Because his play feature is all of his stuff being out and about. And also here's his gun and his bazooka. And I don't know if this is for him. But I saw this, and I don't know if this is his, but this is a thing. I don't know if that's his or from another kit, in all honesty. He has a beam shield. He has 2 beam sabers. Ooh, we won't be cutting those out tonight. But let's get all of his play feature and see how he can do. And actually, I'm going to get out this little dude as well. I don't know where the pieces are for him, but a cool thing about this kit is that you can actually, for the high grade, also have his legs go out like this for the exhaust. And where the hell is your shield? Damn it. But this guy has some parts for me. You can have his vents come out like this guy. Actually, I didn't notice that before. The chest is actually really different between these two kits. If you can see how his chest goes out really far and is really thin, while the high grade is really squat in the chest department. Ooh. Yeah, wow, you can see like how far it goes out too. It's like he's got a solid B cup, but then you got like the nice D's over here. Damn. Ooh. The master grade got them implants. We can flare these out. And they can put the shoulder pads back down. And that's actually not too hard to do at all. Well, I just took a while because I was easily distracted. And then... Okay. Okay, so it seems that the easiest way to do this is start with the lower thrusters to get them out, and it's actually looks really nice. Your Goof Zaku Dama Kit Bash is much more sturdier than that. I think this kit's pretty sturdy. I'm not gonna lie, actually, I'm really surprised with how poorly together the high grade holds up. The high grade, all of its joints were loose, like out the box. This guy is just so satisfying to hold and mess around with. I'm really like this kit. I love the gold, the little flecks of gold in the thrusters and, you know, the vents in the front. It's small, but it goes a long way. Ooh. And ooh, you can just fold all these back down really easily. Yeah, I would definitely recommend this kit, and let's see how well this plugs back in. Ooh, triangle chest is called a... Ooh, side tomb Rada triangle. Okay, well, I got these out pretty easily, but I'm not quite sure how to get them back in. I think, okay, so I have to, like, to get them back in, you have to, like, push them back. Okay. So getting them out is a little easier than putting them back in, but putting them back in isn't the hardest thing. There we go. Okay. Oh, chat, remember when I said I was so proud the V-fin stayed in? Well, it looks like it does need to be glued after all. So there's 2 parts in here that had to be glued. Ooh. But I wouldn't call it a hand grenade for that. Because really, it could have just been luck of the draw, because all the other symmetrical pieces are as firm as they could be. So it just, by my luck, one piece of, like, symmetrical pieces weren't too tightly in. But it's a great kit, would recommend, definitely build it. And, speaking of build, you can vote for our next build in the pinned comment. I'm sure you guys have already voted, but in case you haven't, right now we have the Z Gundam, the Penelope Gundam, the Zeong Real Grade, and... chat, what's the last one? And an AT-AT. You might be wondering why the hell is an AT-AT on the list. It was like the biggest thing that I had that wasn't a Gundam, and I didn't want to put the Psycho Gundam on the list because we're building the Psycho Gundam in October. So, you can pick between one of those, and we should start building next week The winner will be announced on Friday, because that's when the polls will close. It'll be announced on Twitter, YouTube, and Discord. If you want to know it first, you're going to want to be on Discord, because it'll just be announced on Discord to all the Gunpla fans. Gotta go now. So bye and take care, everyone. I need to cook lunch. I forgot. I kind of forget about time differences. You vote for at just for fun. Okay. Well, we're actually ending stream, so let me get you guys linked out for anyone who is still here, so you guys can have somewhere to go to after stream if you would like. I always like to link you guys out. I can't raid out on YouTube, sadly, because YouTube is silly and doesn't let you raid out if you're small. It's racist against small people. Let's go to subscriptions. Mondays are always hard to pick somebody to raid out to on YouTube, because it seems that it's just not the time for other people like to stream. I'm just gonna go with Mari Mari En, because I like Mari Mari En, so I hope you'll appreciate her too. There's Mari Mari En for you beautiful people on YouTube. And on Twitch, I'm actually not going to link you out to Mari Mari En as well. I'm going to check if a streamer I discovered last week is streaming, because I'd like to send you off to her, because she was pretty cool and had like a dinosaur theme. Oh, what a shame she's not streaming right now. Who's this? Okay, I can't find the person I wanted you to, so I will just link you out to Mari Mari En. Oh, wait, no, Atya's! I'll link you out to Atya. She's doing Doom. Wait, no, she's doing Half-Life, not Doom. Okay, have a great night, everyone. If you're new here, follow along for more. But regardless of what you do, I hope you can join us tomorrow for... I'm getting distracted by Atya's voice. For Sucker for Love Part 2. In the meantime, I want you to have a great day, a wonderful life, and remember, don't lose your head. This has been Merrick Vesper signing off from me to you. Last two dinos I knew, one graduated, the other wasn't posted anything. Ooh. Actually, don't know what the person was, if they were a dinosaur VTuber that I wanted to link out to on Twitch, or if... I don't know what they were. I think they might have just been a dragon, but they were very neat, and hopefully next Wednesday... I didn't link out on Twitch yet, shit. There's the link on Twitch. And hopefully next Wednesday I can link out to them, because they were streaming on Wednesday. But have a good night, everyone. I'll try to get the pictures up for the kit by tomorrow. I'm really bad at that, but I'm gonna try to do a lot better at getting pictures for kits up. That's why I got the weapons built ahead of time, so that way I can't use that as an excuse not to get you those pictures.